Let's see. You come out of it, you just show the field, and see, the problem is that they've already said the Washington Redskins, the New York Giants at RFK Stadium, and then we come back saying from RFK Stadium, it's, let's drop it out, and I'll just say 109 consecutive sellouts and come right to me. Okay.
National anthem.
Good one, John.
Hey, man.
All right, babe. Washington, the all-time rusher in the history of the University of Oklahoma, but he also does well. Brad Van Pelt, along with Brian Kelly, Harry Carson, and rookie Lawrence Taylor, are the four linebackers in the New York Giant defense. Here is Van Pelt hooking Hubert Oliver and upending him at the line of scrimmage. And here is Lawrence Taylor, the rookie from North Carolina, picking up Wilbert Montgomery, dropping off when the pass is complete on the other side of the line, going across the field to make the tackle. Washington, Van Pelt, and Taylor. We'll see them this Washington. And the question before the House, how will the Giants and the Redskins do coming off losses? Hi, everybody. I'm Vin Scully, along with John Madden. And, John, can they run? Will they run?
I think that's a big thing. Last week they played the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys, and we can see here neither team ran well. Washington had 44 yards, the Giants had 55, and that really isn't enough running to win a game. But,
what is?
Well, I think 125 yards, but at least they're playing each other this week. They're not playing Dallas and Philadelphia. Joe Gibbs wants more running in his attack. He wants a balanced attack. Ray Perkins of the Giants feels that they have to be able to run to help their young line in pass protection and Phil Simms. So it may be the game of the run. We'll see. Let's go to Vin.
All right, John. And as you can see, the Washington Redskins will be receiving the Giants kicking right to left. And deep right now is Terry Metcalf. Up short on his right is Mike Nelms, and up to his left is Wilbur Jackson. So Joe Danello kicking from the 35, and he got his leg into that one. Metcalf will wisely stay in the end zone. So Washington will put it in play. 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Here's the way Washington shapes up offensively. Theismann at the wheel with Washington, Riggins, Ricky Thompson, and Art Monk, the wide receivers. Up front, Mark May, Russ Grimm, Jeff Bostic, Mel Jones, George Stark, and the tight end is Don Warren. Washington last week passed 48 times. We don't expect them to throw the ball that way this time. That's Art Monk coming this way. Riggins is the setback, and in motion is pass on the first play, and it was touched by George Martin, number 75. Big George coming in there with Neal to put some heat on Theismann. Martin, Neal, and McGriff. Gary Jeter, of course, out for a couple of weeks with a knee injury. Van Pelt, Kelly, Carson, and Lawrence Taylor, so the board of directors are in good shape. Then you have Haynes, Currier making a start at strong safety, Beasley Reese, and Terry Jackson. So it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Skins. This time Ricky Thompson comes right and Monk goes left. The tight end Don Warren is on the left side. They'll try Joe Washington, and he is tripped up, and the man who tripped him up was Terry Jackson, who came up for his corner and got him by the ankles. So suddenly Washington, in its first possession, will have a 3rd and 10, a busted pass play and a run that picked up, maybe 2 yards, so it'll make it 3rd and 8.
Yeah, it looked like Joe Washington may have hurt himself on that play, Vin. He's coming off to the sideline and going to the bench with the trainer.
You know, John, they tell us the temperature at noon was 85, and they figure it's about 92 down on the field right now. We'll see whether the heat will take its toll today. Clarence Harmon is in there with Terry Metcalf, and they go slot right with Monk inside Ricky Thompson. Theismann for Thompson, no good with Haynes defending. And Mark Haynes making a fine defensive play. What about passing in the heat, John? Is it tougher running or passing?
I think it's a lot tougher to pass in the heat, Vin, because everyone has to run a lot more. You take it out of the linemen, they have to rush the passer, the pass patterns are all longer and deeper, and that tends to take it out of a team. And there's Joe Washington on the sideline, and it looked like they're looking at his left leg or foot.
When Jackson tackled him, he tripped him up, and he might have twisted going down.
Decline the penalty. It's 4th down.
Mike Connell will be punting to Alvin Garrett, and Garrett is not coming out. He's got a bad shoulder. It'll be Leon Bright. So it's the first time we've seen Bright. He's been out with a quadricep injury, the upper thigh, and Leon Bright will be returning, standing on the Giant 35.
This fella down here in the bottom of the screen, Big Dexter Manley, he's covering from the outside like an end. They're double teaming him.
And there goes Mike Clark, the other one. So the 2 big guys are the wideouts for Washington. Connell gets his punt away despite a rush from Missler. And Bright will take it at the 44. And he is hit by Otis Wanley and dropped to his knees inside the 35. Otis Wanley was drafted number 9 by the Giants last week, so you know he had some extra going.
Now watch Dexter Manley here, number 72. Most teams put a defensive back wide receiver. He's a defensive end to them, and they're double teaming him, and he can't get away. They hold him up pretty good. He finally gets up, a little push on the back, and of course they come from the other side to get him.
And that's Wanley almost taking Bright's uniform off. A 34-yard punt and a -9 on the return. And we'll see what Phil Simms can do now on the Giant 33. He'll try Billy Taylor, and Taylor fumbled. It's going to be picked up by Carl Lorch at the 41-yard line. So the Giants, who had 6 drops and 6 sacks, have a turnover, and they have committed at least 1 turnover in each of the past 42 games. The team record is 54. Carl Lorch recovering the fumble, and Washington is in business.
Tony? I just wanted to let you know that they're still working on Joe Washington there. It looks like his ankle that they're taping here on the bench. Well, they're just testing the tape job. He's still...
Joe Washington testing his right ankle. It's been heavily taped. He's not ready yet, but Washington is. They have it 1st and 10 on the Giant 41. Riggins and Metcalf is the deep man out of the eye. Second man, Terry Metcalf. He's got some daylight. He gets across down to about the 36-yard line before he's brought down by Brian Kelly.
The Redskins build so much of their attack this year around Joe Washington that can really affect the game plan. He gets hurt early on the second play of the game, and you had a lot of things planned, and now, boom, it's all out the window.
You know, talking about Washington and looking at Joe Theismann, Theismann's right thumb is heavily bandaged. We can take a look at that in a moment. Right now, 2nd and 6. First man, John Riggins. And Riggins still on his feet, and if they spot it at the 30, he has the first down, but I don't think they'll spot it there. Let's take a look at Joe Theismann's thumb.
Look at that. We can see that he has it taped up, and it is his passing hand. The tough thing about that is not passing, but taking the ball from center, because you put that hand up first, and that's where the ball bangs against. But I talked to Joe about it yesterday, and he said, well, once the game starts and the adrenaline's pumping, it won't bother me at all. We'll see.
He had 4 interceptions last week with Theismann when he threw the ball 48 times. And he's going to put it up again. And intended for Art Monk and broken up. George Martin, for the second time, got a big meat hook up and away.
I'll tell you, Monk was really open, Art Monk. Now we see Theismann, how he has to take the ball with the right hand there. Monk was wide open in the middle, and we see George Martin. Watch right here. He'll get his hand up and knock the ball down. We'll see it again right there. He just tips it enough. And then, of course, Brian Kelly came over and knocked it down.
So now on a 4th and 2 with a hold at the 40-yard line. It's a 50-yard kick for Mark Mosley. No good. Wide to the right. So the Giants dodge a bullet as Mosley misses the field goal from 50 yards. And of course, remember, the Giants fumbling the ball away, and they escape. Yeah, that was perfect.
Well, I think the thing that we didn't get last time, there's only one play, is Tim Stokes. Tim Stokes playing, yeah, and that was where they ran the play. And
yeah, we'll have to get that for sure.
Well, first of all, are we going to roll the lineups here now after 1st and 2nd down? Okay.
Okay.
Chiron in.
Fly the wipe.
Quantel.
Vin Scully along with John Madden at RFK Stadium with 12:15 left in the first quarter, and Phil Simms with Tim Stokes playing the left tackle spot. Tim's only been with the Giants for 3 days, and he'll be trying to keep a lot of people out, especially Coy Bacon. There's a handoff and maybe a yard gain, that's all. And Bacon, among others, there to stack it up. Here's the way the Giants go. With Simms at quarterback, Taylor and Perry, the wide receivers are Gray and Freedy up front. And we'll be watching 74, Tim Stokes, along with Turner, Hughes, Simmons, King, and the tight end, Tom Mulladay. That's awfully tough, isn't it, John? Having an offensive lineman in a game. He's been with the club 3 days.
I never liked to play an offensive lineman in a game the first year I had him in, let alone the first week.
Well, Ray Perkins doesn't have that luxury. Simms setting up to pass, getting some heat as he goes down the right, and it's going to be intercepted. Taken away from the intended receiver, Ernest Gray, and all alone is Tony Peters to pick it off. So Under pressure, Sims gives it up.
But this is one of the things that the Giants want to do today, Vin. They want to pass, and they want to pass deep, go for something. So they start early. They start going for Ernest Gray here. But this is one of the times that you can't do it because he doesn't have it. You see the defender is right there waiting. He doesn't have a step. He has nothing. The Redskins have it. Sure did, that second down.
That was
the second down. That was the one we talked about, yeah.
Well, they've had the ball twice, and they've given it over twice. No, he's still
he's still on the bench. You're still working on him, Tony.
11:32. Yeah. He just joined them last week. No, he wasn't intercepted last week.
Yeah, he didn't have any last week.
10 seconds. Stand by. 5 seconds.
Here's Phil Sims talking to his receivers, trying to figure out what happened on that breakdown and the interception. 1st and 10 on the Washington 36-yard line with Metcalf in motion. John Riggins trying to get outside Van Pelt. Couldn't do it. Van Pelt did a good job. Don Warren, the tight end, tried to take Van Pelt out, and Van Pelt just turned the play in.
That's going to be the strength of this defense. The bookends having Van Pelt on one side and Lawrence Taylor on the other side. You either have to run, to one or the other, and they're both going to end up playing those things very, very well.
We showed you Tim Stokes, a new man offensively. Bill Courier came over from New England and just joined the Giants last week, and he's playing for Larry Flowers at strong safety. Heisman intended for Art Monk, and he threw it too high, but Joe was getting plenty of heat from the Giants.
And a flag came late, Vin, and it looks like they hit the passer after he threw the ball. Joe had to wait there quite a while. He was trying to throw a screen out to the left, and they covered the screen, so he had to go deep on a hook. And, of course, the pass rush got there after he threw the ball.
When he threw the ball 48 times last week, that wasn't a record for the team. Sonny Jurgensen threw 50 times and did it twice in a row against the Browns and the Eagles.
Sonny enjoyed that.
Defense, personal foul, roughing the passer, number 77. That's a first down.
So an automatic first down against the rookie Bill Neal out of Pittsburgh. And there's another battle going on because up front on the left side, offensively for Washington, Mark May and Russ Grimm are rookies from Pittsburgh, and a former teammate, Bill Neal, is playing on the nose for the Giants. So it is 1st and 10 on the Giant 49. John Riggins, and he's across with a flag on the play. As he hit the 45, the flag was thrown immediately.
And that'll probably balance out that roughing because it's probably a holding against the Giants. We tend to see more and more of that holding on running plays in the last couple of years. Joe Gibbs was telling me the other day that what he would like to do, Riggins is a type of back, he says, that you have to pound, the fullback type. Give him the ball, pound him.
Offense, holding, number 53.
That, of course, would be the center, Jeff Bostic. Bostic is one of these fellows who doesn't impress you when you look at him, John.
In fact, Joe Gibbs was saying that he was so unimpressive the first time he saw him in an off-season minicamp, he wanted to cut him. He told his coaches, let's get rid of that guy. But they didn't, and he came back, and he kept getting better every camp, and now he's a starting center.
Now it's 1st and 10 back on the 1st and 20 on the Washington 41. A little release behind. Picked up by Metcalf, and they butt heads, Haynes and Metcalf, as he goes out of bounds at about the 47-yard line. by the way, the Giants have just reported that Ernest Gray, remember he was the intended receiver on the interception. Gray was injured, will not return. Injury unknown.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. He must have pulled something because it was a deep pass, and that could be either a hamstring or a groin type pull when you go all out early, maybe before you're really warmed up and ready to.
And the report now is that's what it is, a hamstring. Theismann looking to the left side, can't get it to Monk, so he gives it to Metcalf, and Lawrence Taylor not only took down the blocker Grimm, but also the ball carrier. No wonder they like him so much.
I'll tell you, I like Lawrence Taylor. He was the type that I would love to take back with me and coach, because now watch him. He goes back. See, it's a screen pass. Theismann is looking downfield. Then he's going to come off to his back on a screen. Taylor drops back, sees the screen, up past a blocker, and makes the tackle for a loss. I love that kind of play.
He's quick, John, isn't he? So it is a 3rd and 22 for Washington. Ball back on the Skins' 39-yard line. Theismann low on a bounce, intended for Metcalf, and Terry Jackson had to short hop it, and the Wolves get on Theismann a little bit. Joe so far is 1 for 5 for 5 yards, and Mike Connell will punt.
I think in defense of Joe Theismann there, and this is probably what he's saying. He has a reason for everything, and he's telling Joe Gibbs there was just nothing open, so I could take a sack or throw it away, so I just decided to throw it away.
You know, he also said he had a lot of trouble in this new system reading defenses last week. Mike Connell will be kicking, and Leon Bright will be receiving. The wideouts are the big guys. Manley is down there, and Manley is brushed at the last minute by Terry Jackson. Bright still on his feet, got away from Lawrence Taylor, but he's finally upended as he crossed the 25 to about the 28. Mike Clark brought him down. Lawrence Taylor trying to help out with a block.
Leon Bright is 5'9". How would you like to be 5'9" and looking up to catch a punt and see a big 6'4" guy come running down on you?
Is that the first time you've ever seen people like a Manley and a Clark used as wideouts?
I've never seen that before. I've never even seen a linebacker used out there. Again, it's usually a wide receiver or defensive type, defensive back type.
Of course, you know, Manley is 6'3" and 240, and they say he runs the 40 in 4.5. And they're going to have to play it over again. Penalty apparently on the play. Do you believe that?
No.
If you pick up a press guide and it says Manley is 240 and he runs the 40 in 4.5.
Ineligible man downfield on a kick, number 39.
Downfield was the man a little anxious to come down. That is Otis Wanley, who was drafted by the Giants last year. It was Wanley who made the tackle on the previous punt. He's all fired up against his ex-team.
He should have told the officials that he was the outside guy. See, now here's Manley. Look, a big guy out there. He even has a little wide receiver stance. Vin, he doesn't get in a stance. Look, a little sprinter type deal there.
And he's 240 pounds. Here's Connell standing on the 20. Leon Bright on his own 20. Connell, plenty of time. And there's yet another flag. And it's Bright this time seeing daylight. And Wanley finally grabbed him as he crossed the 45-yard line. But hold everything. Flag on the play.
You know, Vin, that official was right there watching Manley. Now, he was watching this. He's right to the side.
That's Haynes and Coder tying him up.
And they may have called Haynes for holding. Did you see his left hand was on Manley's back? Now, if that's true, well, there's a new rule on that. It used to be that if it were holding, before the kick would be an automatic first down for the Redskins.
Offense, number 72, encroachment. Line up in the neutral zone. Decline the penalty. First down going the other way.
So Dexter Manley was so anxious and looking at the twin blockers, Haynes and Coder, he lined up in the neutral zone.
Well, he was working on that stance, you know, that deal where he had 1 foot back and he's looking to the inside.
So we've got 9 minutes and 25 seconds left in the first quarter. The Giants keep giving Washington the ball and they can't do anything with it. Yeah, they sure did.
Yeah, they did. You know, that flag came a little late. I thought that's what it was. Usually on that lining up on the ball, that's a nitpicking call.
Kind of low. Oh yeah.
Do we have any report what happened to Washington?
Who, Gray? Let me see. I haven't seen him.
He may be the guy on the bench with the...
Okay. Oh yeah, there's a Giant without his shirt on. That might be he, with a towel over his head.
10 seconds. Stand by.
What'd I say? Oh, did I? The Giants now put it in play, 1st and 10 from their own 47-yard line. 9:25 left in the first quarter, no score. This is Doug Coder. Coder across midfield. He escaped Monty Coleman, who had a shot at him, and he's finally brought down by Perry Brooks. So Phil Simms trying to generate something. The very first time the Giants had the ball, Billy Taylor fumbled. That's a tough way to begin, isn't it?
That is, and of course the next time on 2nd down they threw an interception, and Dave Jennings has been warming up and hadn't had a chance to punt after 2 possessions.
So it'll be a 1st and 10 for the Giants. The ball on the Washington 47-yard line. Giants going slot left, but it's Coder trying to leap over the pack, and he falls across the 45-yard line. Brooks and Bacon. Are they running at that side, do you think, John, at Brooks and Bacon?
Well, that's the tough thing for the Giants, you see, is really where you want to run is at Brooks and Bacon, because they are not the run strength of the Redskin defense. Also, there's a rookie over there playing right linebacker, Mel Kaufman. Now, the problem the Giants have is on their left side, they're starting Tim Stokes, who's only been there 3 days.
So it's 3rd and 1 on the 44. Coder trying to go straight ahead. They pinched him, and he didn't make it. In fact, among others, Perry Brooks, number 69, the first man to hit him, and Dave Butts.
Those are the tough things. We talked about an offensive lineman coming in for 3 days. It's not only pass protection. They have to be able to run block, then you get short yardage, goal line, blitzes, all the things that can come up. Very, very difficult.
John, quickly, if you can do it, what's the difference in trying to absorb the situation, the game plan, let's say, for the Giants as opposed to Green Bay?
Well, Green Bay, they had their numbers odd to the right, even to the left. The Giants are just the opposite.
Would you believe a man to the left on the 10-yard line receiving a punt with his right hand in a cast? That's Mike Nelms. Metcalf is going to watch the ball go into the end zone. Number 21, Mike Nelms, just coming off the field in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. John, have you ever seen a man go back to handle punts with his hand in a cast?
And look at that cast. That looks like something that a linebacker would wear. Mike Nelms, of course, was in the Pro Bowl last year as a rookie. They didn't use him last week. Joe Gibbs said they're going all out for this game. Nelms feels that he can do it, so they're going to have him return punts today.
Well, that was a 44-yard punt and no return. And now Washington, having had the ball 3 times and coming up short, now get it for the 4th try. They have the tight end Warren in motion. Metcalf and Riggins are behind Theismann. And Joe looking slightly to the left. He's got Art Monk at the 40, and he's brought down across the 45-yard line. Lawrence Taylor and Beasley Reese making the tackle, and so Theismann picks up the first down.
I'll tell you, they were sharp up in the booth. They saw that was open. Remember the last time, Vin, when Brian Kelly tipped that pass? This was the same pass. Art Monk was wide open in the middle, as he is now. See? But see, Kelly was over a little to the left that time and not right in the middle. So they probably told Monk, same thing, but find a hole between those linebackers.
Well, a hole it was. 1st and 10 on the Washington 45 with Monk in motion. They're going to stay on the ground to Terry Metcalf. There's a flag on the play as Metcalf gets to midfield.
This is one of the things I know that is upsetting me. It's probably a holding penalty against the Redskins, and they want a balanced attack. They want to be able to run. They want to be able to pound John Riggins in there. And then when they do, they get these penalties.
The Giants offside. Preliminary signal.
Maybe they don't get those penalties. Maybe the Giants get those penalties.
Defense offside number 76. First down.
76 is Curtis McGriff. Trying to put some heat on Theismann. They pay the penalty.
And he's lined up on Mark May, the rookie, and he wants to get a little start on it.
Lynn Dickey passing to Carl Swanty for 2 yards and a touchdown. Green Bay leading Atlanta 7-0 early. That's a surprise. 1st and 5 from midfield. John Riggins to about the 46. New Orleans leading the Rams on a 45-yard field goal by Benny Ricardo. I wonder if Benny still is in the boutique business.
Those Rams have a lot of problems, don't they?
Kansas City's Ted McKnight scored from 8 yards to lead Tampa Bay 7-0 early in the first. We're going to see the Rams next week, John, and Green Bay. It might be a pretty good ball game.
Green Bay sounds like the surprise team of the early season, don't they?
Even though they lost Eddie Ivory. John Riggins stacked up at about the 41-yard line, and that will be plenty for the first down.
John Riggins loves that, you know, to get in there and take penalty. Now watch, the strength of the Giant defense is in their linebackers. Now watch your linebackers. You see Carson here. Watch Taylor come in and make the tackle from the outside with a pounded Riggins. He's going to have to do that a lot today.
So Washington, in its 4th possession, beginning to put things together. They started on their own 20-yard line after the punt, and they moved it to the Giant 41, where they have it 1st and 10. And they'll go slot left with Monk inside, Ricky Thompson, and Metcalf in motion. And they're setting up a screen for Metcalf. Mark Haynes slowed him up, and the Giant linebackers with Carson and Kelly bring him down inside the 35-yard line, and that might be enough for another first down.
Looks like we aren't going to see Joe Washington right now. See, it's a little fake of the run. Then he throws what we call a quick screen out here. See, the line doesn't block first. They just run out and try and get in front of Metcalf, and he gains the yardage. Now, Metcalf has a little fumbling problem also.
A little fumbling problem?
A big fumbling.
I'll tell you how nice you are. He handled the ball 9 times last week and fumbled twice. He has fumbled 56 times in the 65 games with St. Louis.
Well, that's a bigger problem than little.
I think so. It is 1st and 10 if they have made it, and it's awfully close depending upon the spot, which must drive coaches crazy.
That's halfway between a left foot and a right foot. That's right on the thing. He may have put both feet down at the same time.
So Brad Van Pelt, who had double vision momentarily, taking a shot to the head, and you can see him shaking.
He's trying to shake it off, get the cobwebs out.
2nd and about a foot. The ball is on the Giant 32.
Although some linebackers walk around normally with cobwebs in their head.
Answering telephones that never ring.
The lights are on. There's no one home upstairs.
Metcalf and Riggins behind Theismann. They go to the big guy, and there he goes. And fumbles. And it is picked up by the Giants, and it is Bill Courier. And Courier has it at the 21-yard line.
We're just talking about fumbles and Terry Metcalf and everything, and we're saying they have to pound John Riggins because he's the type of guy that gets stronger as he goes. Boom, they go through, and then he fumbles it. Joe Gibbs is probably saying, geez, we ought to go back to the pass. Look here, he runs through 2 tackles, and that 3rd tackle got him, and the ball came out. Here's Courier. He finds it, the old fumble recovery drill.
Yes, yes. Paid off. 1st and 10, Giants on their own 21-yard line. They have Leon Perry in there with Doug Coder now. Mike Freedy playing the left side, and he overthrows Coder. One reason getting tremendous heat from Coy Bacon. So Bacon is battling Tim Stokes.
Let's watch this now. Of course, Tim Stokes played with Coy Bacon. They know each other, and Tim Stokes was saying, geez, I'm not happy that I have to open up my first game with Bacon. You see what he did? He overextended himself. You can't do that on pass protection, and he let Bacon get that inside.
Of course, Tim Stokes came from a racquetball club in Oregon to be here today. He might need the rackets. Ernest Gray is back in there on a draw. It's Leon Bright for the 25, still on his feet to about the 28 or 9. A lot of people in there. Murphy and Olkowitz, along with Bacon. And the last man up is Mel Kaufman.
And there's also a flag out there, Van. And, you know, that was a smart call, though. Bacon put pressure on, and although it's going to be holding against the Giants, but they came right back and said, okay, Bacon, if you want to rush like that, we'll let you rush, and we'll run the draw inside of you. Of course, they didn't think they were going to hold.
For Phil Simms, when he hears the word hot, he has to work.
Number 68.
You know what hot means? Hot means we are not going to block any linebackers that come. You have to see them and get rid of the ball. How'd you like that?
That's terrific. Yeah, what a
You're
great
from
way
Morehead
to
State.
2nd and 20, the ball on the 11-yard line for Phil Simms, and it's hot. That time it is knocked down by Big Dave Butts, 6'7", 295 pounds, your kind of guy, John.
Yes, and the most surprised guy was Roy Simmons, who was blocking Butts. He looked around and said, what happened? He did a great job of pass protection. He really kept Butts on the line, and Sims threw the ball, and Butts was able to get off the block and up in the air.
3rd and 20 on the 11. Dexter Manley has come in now for Perry Brooks on the right side for Washington. And Sims is going to load up the shotgun. Now he finally sees Ernest Gray off his hands, and Coder couldn't handle it. So Gray, we got that report he would not return, and there he is.
Sometimes that happens, Vin. They get a cramp and they think that it's a hamstring, and all it is a cramp, especially in hot weather. And let's watch this again. The shotgun, a good snap. One of the most important things. Up in the inset, we see Gray. See, it's man-to-man coverage. Man-to-man tight coverage. Lamar Parrish working on him. Sims finds a little hole, gets it up. It's tipped right there, and then right through his hand. You know, Gray has a little problem with those balls going through his hand.
Talking about a problem, let's see now if we can watch a punt fielded by a man with one hand, Mike Nelm. Look at that. From the 38. And McLaughlin, number 52, hits him at the 45, and the ever-present flag, John.
We're seeing more and more of that on kicks, aren't we? You know, now we'll see him catch with a cast. See the cast in the right arm? What he has to do is he has to catch it against his body. But you really don't like to do that, because if the ball hits the shoulder pads, it'll bounce out. You know, Nelms has such great hands. He may be one that can do it.
And he also has to carry the ball left-handed, and I'm sure that's the weaker of his arms.
Right, and then, of course, having good hands is nice, but having a cast on it can kind of make things a little difficult.
53-yard punt, 9-yard return.
Personal foul, clipping on a receiving team on a run back, number 51.
So that would be Monty Coleman, who is guilty of clipping for Washington. That spots the ball back on the 31-yard line. Well, 1st and 10 on the 31. Theismann has Wilbur Jackson and Terry Metcalf, and he's going to the left side to Art Monk. So Monk, open again, is dropped at the 45-yard line. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Washington Redskins and the National Football League is prohibited. New Orleans has added yet another 3. I guess Ricardo kicked his second field goal, so they're leading the Rams 6-0 in the first quarter. Tampa Bay and Kansas City on a 2-yard run by James Wiles, and it's 7-7. 1st and 10 on the 45-yard line of Washington. No score. Monk in motion. Second man, Terry Metcalf, going outside. Jackson pushed him out of bounds, but he picks up the first down at about the 44-yard line. And I think Lawrence Taylor kind of committed himself too much, John.
He did, but Metcalf makes him commit himself. Watch from the I formation. He starts like he's going inside. See right there? He draws everyone to the inside, and then he bounces it to the outside. I'll tell you, Taylor did get suckered to the inside, but Metcalf made him do it.
Metcalf has done that to a lot of linebackers during his years.
And a linebacker can come up and say, I didn't mean to do it, he made me do it.
So the ball is on the Giant 44. The Redskins have it 1st and 10. Monk and Thompson in a slot right, and it'll be big Wilbur Jackson, and Harry Carson almost took his head off. Woo.
If you're going to run at Harry Carson, someone better block him. You better stop him because he's in there. That was one of the things that Ray Perkins was telling us yesterday, that he hopes that Carson plays more like the old Carson. He said, to be honest with you, he didn't last week.
Harry Carson, 6 years out of South Carolina State, was in 2 Pro Bowls, but he missed 8 games last year with a knee injury. By the way, John, there's a connection, a San Diego connection between you, or amongst you, Ray Perkins, and down on the Washington side, Joe Gibbs.
Well, of course, Joe Gibbs took, so we see Joe Gibbs, he's the yellow shirt with the glasses. He took Ray Perkins' place at San Diego as the offensive coordinator under Don Coryell. Joe Gibbs coached with me the first year he coached. I was a defensive coordinator at San Diego State, and he was my graduate assistant. After 1 year, I fired him.
What do you mean?
Oh, we had some problems. Joe was also an alumni. He was coaching the alumni against my defense, and I said, I don't want you to tell him what my defense is. And he said, I have to. I'm the coach. I said, if you do, you'll never coach with me again. So the next year, he was the offensive coach. And look at him now. He's leading offensive passing games.
And Ray Perkins, of course, another young coach. Gibbs is 40, and so is Ray Perkins. Ray will be 40 in November, so they're 2 of the younger coaches with 2 very young ball clubs. A reminder, the United States Open Tennis Championships, the men's final with John McEnroe and Bjorn Borg following the game. And that should be a marvelous conclusion to the U.S. Open.
Of course, we have this holdup here for that injury down there, and I'm sure that we were watching both coaches, and they were concerned with that. And it looks like it's Russ Grimm, the first-year guard, who I know the Redskins are very impressed with and very enthused about. And they've had so many problems with their offensive line and injuries this year that I'm sure that they're hoping that whatever it is with Russ Grimm, that it's not a serious thing.
He started the game with a sore left ankle, but I'm not sure whether they're working on his left knee.
It looks like a left knee, yeah.
There's a rookie out of Pittsburgh. While he played at Pittsburgh, the Panthers were 22-2. He's 6'3", 255-pounder, and he was on the National Honor Society, so he's a bright kid as well as an excellent football player. And he's teamed up with Mark May, another graduate of Pittsburgh. It's kind of rare to see 2 kids from the same school drafted by the same team and playing shoulder to shoulder.
Right, and starting the National Football League season playing side by side. That is his left knee.
Well, we certainly hope that Russ Grimm will be all right. That's no pun intended, but it is a grim way to start your career in the NFL. A bad knee in the second game. More great NFL action next week on CBS Sports. Detroit, Minnesota, San Francisco, Atlanta. A lot of you folks here in the nation's capital will be seeing Washington at St. Louis, and Tampa Bay will be at Chicago. Green Bay will be at Los Angeles, and the people in New York, of course, will see Bum Phillips, New Orleans at the Meadowlands. All right, it's 2nd and 9 on the Giant 43. In motion is McCrary. And it's Lawrence Taylor. And falling on the ball is George Martin, but I think they might Well, let's see. Are they ruling it while throwing or a fumble?
Let's watch it again, Vin. The person who's supposed to block him is Jerry Scandal, number 67, and it's on his first play. He just replaced Russ Grimm. Watch him right out there. See that 67? He didn't get Taylor. You know, that's one of the things that the Redskins were worrying about is Lawrence Taylor on a blitz.
And as you could see, Joe's arm was coming forward. He was in the act of passing, so it's an incomplete pass. That makes it 3rd and 9. The ball's still on the Giant 43-yard line. Clarence Harmon is now in there, number 38, along with Terry Metcalf. Monk and Thompson go right. That's Virgil Say going deep, but they really put the pressure on Theismann.
And that was Lawrence Taylor again. What an athletic play. Watch him coming from the top of your screen. He'll run right over Terry Metcalf. Watch him. He'll come right up in the air, right on top of your screen, flying through the air and hitting Theismann just as he threw it. But he must have flew for 5 yards, man.
They show movies on that flight. Leon Bright.
He was in the air so long you can see a movie.
Yeah, Superman 2. Leon Bright is standing on the 10-yard line, and Mike Connell with plenty of time. And Leon Bright will take it on the 19, and is he ever swallowed up? He was hit, you guessed it, by Dexter Manley, number 72, and Kevin Turner, number 54. But boy, that Manley is like a runaway truck.
Hey, what do you think happened on that play? There's another flag out there. Seems like every time we see a punt, there's a flag. I wonder if Manley lined up properly this time. Wouldn't that be something? You're 5'9" and you're standing on, and you see a big number 72 running at you. You know, if it was 27, you know, maybe, but 72.
72 is frightening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially at 240 pounds. No score. We have 2 minutes and 17 seconds and a flag-waving first quarter, which is only proper in the nation's capital.
Especially in the kicking game.
And it'll be against Washington. We'll see about Manley. He's number 72.
54 on the kicking team.
Kevin Turner.
Ineligible man downfield.
So Manley was eligible and he got there. Turner was ineligible and he was there with Manley.
Well, of course, the only two that can leave before the ball is kicked are the two outside men. Everyone else has to wait until the ball is kicked and then leave.
So Connell will try it again from his own 40-yard line. Leon Bright standing back on the Giant 10. Pretty good hang time, and Bright standing at the 16. And he just did get by Clarence Harmon. Fumbled, but let's see, was it after the whistle? Yes. So the Giants will retain possession on their own 20-yard line. You were talking before about being a little guy. Clarence Harmon just missed knocking him into the bleachers.
Of course, we'll see it this time. Now he's lined up tight, though. That's different, you see, because they were going against the block, so they were able to keep him into the backfield. You see, they keep him. Now, look, they double. There's one who blocked him. Two, he just throws him away. Look, three, here comes another one.
That's the same guy, John Missler, who's been fighting him all the way down the line. First and 10 from the 20-yard line. And Coder fumbling, and let's see if that's after the whistle, I believe. Doug Coder unable to hold on to it on the far side. The reason he couldn't hold on to it, he was hit by Carl Lorch and Monty Coleman.
And I'll tell you, that's probably driving Ray Perkins crazy. He starts with Billy Taylor. He fumbles and he says, well, we'll get Taylor out of there. We'll put Coder in there. And then to see that ball drop on the ground, I know what he's thinking.
I would think in this heat you're going to have to use a lot of people carrying the ball.
I'm sure they will, and it'll hurt the Redskins, again, not having Joe Washington.
A minute and 31 left in the first quarter. Second and 10 on the 20. Ernest Gray is in motion. Leon Bright following a block by Simmons, and off the block was Carl Butt. Dave Butt. And Butt just shed it and made it.
Of course, they're trying to take advantage again on the draw of Coy Bacon on this side. They're trying to run inside of him. We see here, well, excuse me, it's not Coy Bacon. It's Matt Mendenhall playing out there, and he plays the run better, even with the hold. So he was being held by Stokes. He still held up the hold, and Butts came in from the offside.
Roy Simmons threw the block, and he just bounced off Butts. That's what ruined the play. Third and 11 on the 18. Gray in motion to the left. Tony Peters almost stole it from Leon Perry.
Now watch Mike Freedy. See, we'll see him. He's playing the other side. He's going against Joe Lavender in tight coverage. Look at Lavender. He just grabs him and throws him to the ground. Freedy has to try and get away from that tight coverage. Can't run over it.
So Dave Jennings, outstanding punter, and there is Mike Nelms with that cast on his right hand on the 30-yard line. And Jennings really arrows one over to the 30, and what a catch by Nelms. And he takes a lick, and a hard lick it is, at about the 35-yard line, and down he goes. Doug Coder, number 44, was the man to go down and hit him. And I'm looking, no flags, John.
One of the bright spots of the Giants is this guy right here, Dave Jennings. And Perkins was saying, here's an amazing man. He's 29 years old, but he's a health food nut. And he said he has the body and the attitude of an 18-year-old.
It was a 55-yard punt, a 6-yard return by Dave, who is the first punter to win 2 consecutive NFC titles since the merger created 2 conferences within 1 league. First and 10 on the 35 of Washington. No score. 28 seconds left in the quarter. Martin slowed him up, and the Giants eat him up. But big George Martin got in there to hook him in the backfield.
One thing, the Giants started out last week against the Eagles. They played very strong on defense, and they're doing the same thing today. I think the big thing is that linebacker core, that they really swarm, and they get a lot of people to the ball. A lot of linebackers having a 4-linebacker defense.
And time has run out on this first quarter that has seen turnovers, but no scoring. Giants nothing, Washington nothing.
Bob, yeah, I don't have a monitor here. It started out the first part. Well, it goes in and out. It goes on and off. It's just, I look at Vince. I move over to the right side.
He goes to his right very well.
Yeah. Okay, what does it look like?
It is 2nd and 9 on the 36.
Tony, you still have a shot on this Redskins sideline. You got a shot at Grimm on the bench, and you still have Joe Washington, and they're kind of working on both. Maybe we ought to show Grimm. He has his leg up there. And
You want me to go there and check?
Right, and the other thing you better give us somewhere is turnovers, because that's why we don't have any scores. What do you got?
Okay, I'll go down there.
How many?
I think it's 2-1.
Yeah.
2-1.
10 seconds.
Looking back over the first quarter, John, this graph kind of shows you that Washington with 44 yards and the Giants 12 rushing. And the Giants have been shut out in the first quarter passing.
And of course, the Giants again only had 55 last week, and the Redskins didn't even have a first down rushing.
2nd and 9 on the 36. Wilbur Jackson is hit by Byron Hunt as he crossed the 35-yard line and is dropped just about at the line of scrimmage. Those turnovers, the Giants had Billy Taylor fumble and Sims had a pass intercepted. The Washington turnover, John Riggins fumbled. It was recovered by Bill Courier. 3rd and 9 on the Washington 36. Any surprises? Anything that you're not looking for that has popped up?
Well, I thought that there may be some scoring in the first period, and again, I think both teams are starting to tire now, and maybe we'll go to running more.
Wiseman with Harmon in there to block, and Joe goes down the right side to Art Monk. No good. Wrestled by Bill Courier at about the 48-yard line.
That was that spread formation, or the Redskins call it a flood. They don't use a shotgun, but they use the same type of formation with the 5 men up in the line.
Why doesn't Joe use a shotgun?
Well, Joe Gibbs thinks that there's a period where the quarterback has to take his eyes off the defense to look at the snap from center, and he said he'd rather have him get the ball and be able to see the defense all the time.
Mike Connell punting from the Washington 25. Leon Bright standing on the Giant 23-yard line. And backing up is Bright, and he'll have to take it on the 14-yard line. He's pursued by Mike Clark. He got away from Clark. He gets away from 2 more, and he's finally pushed out of bounds by Mike Nelms, and there is a Washington player hurt on the sideline. And the player for Washington apparently suffering a wrist injury. It's Jeff Bostic, the center, and of course they could really be hurt if they lose his talent to touch over the ball. No score early in the second.
Still goes out every time we start the play. Do they tell you that from here? Do they know that?
Gray is standing on the 40-yard line with helmet on.
Well, Gray's playing.
Yeah, he's on the Giant 40-yard line on the sideline. He's okay.
Gray didn't have it. Did he go in?
Stand by. 5 seconds.
The Giants put it in play, 1st and 10 on their own 22-yard line. Sims trying to break a shutout. He's 0 for 5. Billy Taylor is in there now, along with Leon Perry. And Sims is brought down by Butts. Dave Butts takes him down at the 15-yard line.
Of course, he still didn't break that shutout, did he? He was trying to go to some type of short thing, and there was just no one open, and he just had to keep the ball and go to the ground with it.
Sims, of course, was sacked 6 times last week, and there's constant pressure on him in a young line that was broken down because of injury and has suffered yet another. We understand Tom Mulledy might have a possible fractured hand, and he's out. Johnny Perkins in motion to the right. And a release to Leon Perry. He's to the 20, still on his feet, and Kaufman brings him down at about the 23 or 24-yard line. Mel Kaufman is playing for Rich Malott. Malott is out with a sprained shoulder.
We talk about Sims having trouble getting started in the passing, but a lot of it has to do with the coverage. Lamar Parrish and Joe Lavender may be 2 of the best corners in this league. Tony Peters is a strong safety. He was a corner at one time, and he's a good cover man. So it's not so much Sims or the pass protection. Maybe the receivers just aren't really getting open.
3rd and 9 on the Giant 23 with Perkins in motion. And out of the shotgun, it's some pressure by Perry Brooks. And the pass is no good. And it was Johnny Perkins out there. And Perkins with Jarris White all over him.
I tell you, that has to be tough. Look at Sims. He's down there. That pressure, he's all right as he goes off, but that pressure came right up into his face. A lot of times it'll come from a side, but Brooks was on a stunt. He did a loop, and he broke free right up the middle. Sims had to step into him to throw the ball, and boom, that one had to hurt.
So Dave Jennings will be punting from his 10. Again is Mike Nelms on the Washington 25-yard line. And they're coming! And he just did get it away. Nelms picks it up at the 30. Got away from Flowers. Got away from Reese. And down he goes. McGlasson
where it can hurt with Nelms is not so much the hands, but the fact that you have a cast on the hand that you have to catch the ball. Now watch him right here. He'll catch it against his body. See, instead of getting his hands out in front where you'd want him, he has to keep them in close to his body. You see what happened? That hit his left shoulder pad, but he got on it. With this monitor for the whole thing. That's one of those things they put up. That's ice, I guess, pressure. I don't even know if anyone knows it.
Joe Washington had a big day last week when he caught 10 passes against Dallas. From the looks of things, we're not going to see Joe Washington for the rest of the day. A bad right ankle. It is 1st and 10 on the Washington 29-yard line. And Theismann looking left, then down the middle. And it is broken up by Brian Kelly again. That's the second time Kelly's been able to get a hand up on a Theismann pass.
And that's what Joe Theismann is thinking, Van. I'm sure that he has really had receivers open downfield. All he has to do is be able to get the ball past these linebackers. See, if he could get that ball past Kelly, he did have an open step there. And when he's had problems is when he's thrown them at the linebacker.
Garo Yepremian has just kicked a 44-yard field goal. Tampa Bay leading Kansas City 10-7, 13 left in the second quarter. 2nd and 10. Theismann with Harmon and Riggin. And he's going to try Harmon's number. And he gets across the 30. Leading the way was the rookie guard, Melvin Jones. Last time we saw it, New Orleans had 2 field goals to lead the Rams. Now they've gotten a touchdown, a 5-yard run by George Rogers, and they're singing in South Carolina as well as Bourbon Street. 13-0 New Orleans.
They haven't had much to sing about in a long time, have they, down there?
3rd and 7 on the Washington 32-yard line. Harmon and Metcalf now are in there behind Theismann. Under some pressure, but Theismann eludes 2 men and throws incomplete to Harmon.
He had a lot of pressure right up the middle from Bill Neal. Neal was double teamed. The rookie in the middle as the nose tackle was double teamed. He broke both of them, and he was the man that put the pressure on Joe. Now as Theismann's coming off here, I'm sure that he knows that, again, he has to get behind those linebackers.
And once again, Mike Connell will be punting from the Washington 20. It'll be his 5th punt of the day, and Leon Bright all alone on the Giant 25. We have 11:35 to the half, no score. A bounce, so it's a loose ball, but he gets it away. And Leon Bright fumbles, recovers, still on his feet, and he's drilled at the last minute by Darrell Grant.
I'm sure that snap, remember on the last punt, we saw Jeff Bostic was injured. And now we see out here, we're watching Manley again. They're just taking him on like he's a lineman. But watch the speed once he breaks by. See, now he's shoulder to shoulder, and he's in a foot race with him, Vin. And he's winning. He's winning the foot race, and he even gets his own guy right there. He'll get anyone, any color jersey.
Wasn't that something?
Yeah,
Holy man. Well, he's the guy they say runs it in 4.5.
Maybe he is 4.5. Again, on that, I'm still losing my monitor. I lost my monitor on that one.
Yeah.
And I don't have a monitor right now. Now I look at Vin. I can stand up and go over there. What? What? Holy moly.
15 seconds. 10 seconds. Stand by.
Green Bay on an 11-yard pass. Lynn Dickey to Gary Ellis, leading Atlanta in a shocker, 14-0 in the second quarter. The Giants have it 1st and 10 on their 22. That's Perkins in motion. Pitch back to Leon Bright. Got away from Kaufman and finally goes out of bounds almost the 29-yard line, brought up by Matt Mendenhall. But Kaufman had a shot at him, couldn't do it. And talking about shockers, how about New Orleans? Benny Ricardo has just kicked his 3rd field goal from 34 yards. New Orleans leading a dispirited Ram team 16-0. They have a mess in Anaheim, John.
I wonder if the Rams are having a lot of turnovers. It seems like every 2 minutes New Orleans is getting a new score. I bet there's some interceptions or fumbles in that game.
2nd and 3 on the Giant 28. Slot left. Second man, and that would be Taylor, making sure that he's going to hold on to the ball, and it would appear as if he might have made the first down. It's a question of the spot.
Of course, Taylor fumbled early in the game, and then he's been on the sideline. He's had plenty of time to think about it.
What do you do as a coach when a fella like did what Taylor did in the closing seconds of the first half, fumbles the first time he gets the ball? Do you talk to him or do you leave him alone?
I would just leave him alone unless I knew that there was a reason for it. If you see that first down statistic, the Giants are only averaging 1.4 yards on first down, and that's one of their big problems.
Well, they have the first down here on their own 33-yard line. And whistles and flags shall hold everything.
That was a penalty before the snap, so probably someone on offense moved before the ball was snapped, and that's Tim Stokes, the new tackle.
False start offense, 74.
Well, as you were saying, John, it is so difficult, almost impossible for a fella to learn a system as an offensive lineman being with the club for 3 days.
Because he has to work as a group, and that's one of the types of things that happen, the starting count. Once they put that hand down, they can't move again.
1st and 15 on the Giant 28. Play action fake to Taylor. A wobbly pass to Bright, and he drops it. The poorly thrown ball, and there's a flag on the play. Carl Lorch is hurt, and Lorch came into this game with a bad neck.
I was talking to him yesterday, and he's been having a problem with the neck. As a matter of fact, he was taking treatment on it yesterday, and it may be one of those things that as he gets hit, it just goes out for a while and then is back shortly. He's quite a guy, Carl Lawrence.
Offense, number 74.
Carl Lorch in 1979 picked up an interception and ran it for a touchdown against the Giants.
And Tim Stokes is having a long day, Vin. Did you hear who that holding penalty was?
Yeah,
Tim
right.
Stokes. So he had the false start on one play and the holding on the next.
Well, now it's 1st and 24 on the 18-yard line. On a draw, they tried Billy Taylor, and he got maybe to the 20-yard line before he swallowed up Mel Kaufman, the first man to make contact with him, along with Neil Olkowitz. 7 penalties in the first half. As a coach, ideally, of course, no penalties, but what can you accept from your team in penalties?
Well, of course, the biggest thing in penalties is you can accept as many as the other team has, and it's the difference between the two. If you have 10 and they have 10, that's no problem. If you have 10 and they have none, that's a big problem.
Sims with a problem, but he releases it, and he picks up his man, and this time it's Gary Shirk, the tight end, and he's dropped as he crossed the 30-yard line, but he has to get to just about the 34-yard line, and then to start back again. So it'll be 3rd and 11. Remember, the Giants started on the 22, and they've gone backwards.
Of course, that wasn't close to a first down,
no.
But in one way it's a big play in that you've captured some field position for your punt coverage and defense if you have to get to that.
3rd and 11 on the Giant 32, and out of the shotgun, it's Perkins in motion. get a lick, and the pass is no good. Intended for Johnny Perkins. Kevin Turner and Mike Clark put the pressure, and it was Clark who just about buried Sims.
I'll tell you, it was Clark, and again, it came in the same area. The Redskins ran a stunt, and Clark broke free up the middle. And the tough thing, now watch it, see Clark coming, and now just as Sims steps, he has to step right into it, and that's tough.
Here's the punt from Dave Jennings, and Mike Nelms will have to let it roll inside the 10 to the 6-yard line, and the Giants will down it. Larry Flowers down there to mark the ball.
And what do you think there is?
Don't tell me there's a flag on the play.
Yeah, there is.
Well,
every time they punt, there's a flag on the play. I don't think that we've had a punt. We probably have. We haven't had many punts without a flag in this game.
That, by the way, from Dave Jennings, 62 yards. And Mike Connell has kicked 5 for over 200 yards.
On the receiving team of illegal block below the waist.
That's one of the reasons, of course, that they do that. You know who that was? That was Mike Nelms. I'm sure it was the punt returner, because now we have a new rule on the punt return. You see that you can't block below the waist. Now watch Nelms right there. See, on the punt return, you can't block below the waist. And it was the punt returner that did it.
No score, 8:52 to the half.
Bob? Tony? Yeah, that's the way to listen. That's great. No, that's good. Yeah, well, good listening.
Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Bob,
Okay.
can your volume be lowered a little? Okay, that's better, yeah.
Let's try and get some line play in this thing. I'd like to get somewhere where, you know, can you see who's in there at center? Is that still Bostic?
Let me see.
Why don't we get Neal in the center somewhere in here coming off this goal line? Well, Neal.
Yeah. They cut Fred Dreyer only to find out that he had a no-cut contract, and the player they had to release is now with Washington, Mike Clark, and playing a great game.
He was just the fellow that put the pressure on Sims that last play.
Metcalf in motion to the right, and he'll try Riggins, and the Giants bring him down at about the 7-yard line.
We're having quite a battle in the middle. Bill Neal isn't there. We'll see Jim Burt. Now watch it in there. Bostic is back. The wrist is okay. Watch what a nose tackle 64 has to go through. Double team. You have to hang in there. He still played around it and made him cut back.
And Harry Carson finally was able to come in and stop the play. It is 2nd and 6 on the Giants 7. On the Washington 7. Motion is Monk. He's picked up by Curry. And it's the second man, and they just eat up Terry Metcalf at the 5-yard line. Byron Hunt, number 57, along with Curtis McGriff.
You know, I wonder if Lawrence Taylor is injured, because Byron Hunt is in there at that right linebacker spot. You know, they tried to do the same thing. They tried to go inside and bounce outside. Hunt didn't go for it.
I just think it's the heat, John, because Lawrence is standing up and apparently fine on the Giant side of the field, wearing his helmet and ready to come in.
I'd have him in there.
3rd and 6 on the 7-yard line of Washington. No score. It's 7:34 to the half. Here goes Metcalf, and grabbed from behind as he got out to about the 7-yard line, and Harry Carson was quick to get over there and join the fun.
You know, one thing, you can take this either way. Neither team did well running last week, and of course they were playing against Philadelphia and Dallas. In this game, in the first half, neither team has run well. So you can take it that way, or you can say, these are both playing real strong defense today.
And of course, neither team is really passing very well either. So 4th and 4 on the 8th. Connell from the end zone, averaging 40 yards a punt. Leon Bright standing on the Giant 45. It's a line drive, and it's going to hit on the 42. Fielded at midfield by Bright, and he's grabbed, and you know who grabbed him. You betcha, Dexter Manley.
Leon Bright's probably saying, will someone please block Manley and get him out of my face? I've seen too much in number 72 in this half.
It's probably on his T-shirt, and there's Dexter coming off the field. How many attempts has Sims made? 19?
How many total yards do both teams have on offense?
Bob, how many attempts? No, he can't. Really? It's 2 for 9?
Their best field position they've had yet.
Yeah.
Somewhere we ought to come up with a graphic of total offensive yards for both teams. It can't be much at all. No, I'm talking about a graphic, Bob.
10
Giants.
seconds. Stand by.
The Giants get their best field position of the day as they take over 1st and 10 on the Washington 47-yard line. Linebacker Monty Coleman is hurt with a bad shoulder. In motion is Ernest Gray. Sims with some time, going deep. No good. It was intended for Mike Freedy, and down there defending was Joe Lavender, the bird, flying high.
You know, last week the Giants, when they had their good field position early, they really didn't take a shot for the end zone. And this week they want to do that. They want to go for a deep one, try and get something. Of course, they're playing against Joe Lavender.
You know, they sent Mike Freedy down there. As you see, Buffalo leading Baltimore 7-0. Joe Ferguson to Joe Cribbs, a 33-yard pass. Tampa Bay, Kansas City tied up. Nick Lowry, a 20-yard field goal to get it even. 2nd and 10 on the 47 of Washington. No score. Leon Perry stacked up and fumbled. But I believe falling on the ball was Tim Stokes, number 74, I think.
Again, that's one of those things that is good and bad, Ben. Usually if a tackle, when you run towards him, is in a position to recover a fumble, that means he missed his block, and that's what happened on that play.
Well, for poor Stim, he's had a couple of penalties called against him. At least he came up with 11.
He's had a long day. You know, maybe that racquetball club is sounding pretty good to him now, but in all due respect, it is tough after a few days.
3rd and 11 on the 48-yard line. I'm surprised he's even in position, in condition to play. Now, whoa!
He just moved again.
And Coy Bacon comes flying through. Let's see if they call Stokes for drawing Bacon off.
I would think that they would. Once an
False start,
offensive
74 offense.
once an offensive lineman assumes that three-point stance, he can't move at all.
And I'm sure he sees Coy Bacon in his dreams, and he's almost flinching before the snap.
Right, and he used to practice against him. He knows
74
Coy.
offense, false start.
Oh, that's not fair, Ben. That's Ben Grace, the referee. You know, once is enough. You don't have to say twice.
Yeah, that's right. Stokes is saying, I don't need the publicity.
Yeah. They never say anything when it, you know, they never say, geez, did you see that block Stokes made? They
He
never
didn't
do
say
that.
fumble recovery by Stokes. All right, 3rd and 16 on the 47. Sims going deep to Perkins. No good. Jarris White all over it. Harry Brooks came firing through, and he's a little tired. Sims Sims looks okay, and Brooks looks worse for the wear. Watch number 69.
Sims looks a little tired to me, too, because he's really been taking a pounding in this first half. Not a lot of sacks, but right after he throws, did you see that? He just threw and boom, he got it. Jarris White in there defending is the 5th defensive back for the Redskins, and they were in that alignment.
Metcalf and Nelms are back at twin safeties at the 10-yard line. Jennings' last punt was a 60-yarder. Dave getting his protection. And that thing should go in the end zone. Yep. So Washington will put it in play. 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. Dave Jennings, of course, did not want to kick it that far. He was trying to kick a poached egg inside the 10.
A poached egg or a pooch. He was trying to punt a pooch, and his pooch just bounced. And when you punt a pooch, you don't want it to bounce.
Well, we'll see volleys and you name it. Maybe a pooch with McEnroe and Board. United States Open Tennis Championships following the game.
I like that McEnroe. He's a scrapper. He gets in. He's a competitor.
Trying to win it for the 3rd straight time. Only Bill Tilden did that. 1st and 10 on the 20 for Washington. Theismann looking right. No good. It was intended for Metcalf. Kelly bumped Metcalf, and the crowd thought that Kelly had interfered with him.
Kelly's telling Metcalf, get up and go back to the huddle. I didn't interfere with you or anyone. You know, Kelly has really been a problem for Theismann. Have you noticed that he's either knocking the ball down or the receiver down? There's Don Breaux giving signals. He's the backfield coach and the left of Joe Gibbs. They have 2 of them. See, he has a coach. Joe's in the middle with the yellow shirt. Both the guys with the yellow hats give signals so you don't know who it is.
2nd and 10 on the 20-yard line. That's Metcalf in motion. Theismann looking left, and he's going to set that quick screen to Metcalf. And Metcalf is boxed in as he gets out across the 25-yard line. He has to get to the 30-yard line, however, for the 1st down.
That's one of the Redskins' favorite play. What it is, it's an option. They have the outside receiver run a pattern downfield. If the linebackers drop back to cover him, he throws a screen to Metcalf. If they come up tight, he throws the ball deep.
Theismann has a 3rd and 4. The ball on the Washington 26. Wilbur Jackson comes out, and Clarence Harmon is back in there. So Harmon and Metcalf. Monk goes wide left. Ricky Thompson goes wide right. They haven't thrown the ball to him all day. Theismann in and out of the hands of Don Warren. He claims Van Pelt interfered with him. The crowd thinks Van Pelt interfered with him. Theismann thinks he interfered with him, and the officials say no.
Look at Theismann. He was the first one to see it. Now he's talking to the referee. He's trying to get someone to listen to him. No one will listen to him. Let's see if he did. Van Pelt was on the tight end. Now watch right here. I think maybe he did. I think maybe Theismann and Warren were right. Look at Joe Theismann. He's still upset about that.
Leon Bright standing back on the Giant 30-yard line. Mike Connell will be punting. He's averaging 40 yards a punt. This would be his 6th punt. Mike Clark, a wide out left, and Dexter Manley, the wide out right. They box Manley up. I think he's getting a little tired now. And Leon Bright at the 32 to the 40. And takes a head-on hit and a flag.
There it is.
Got at the 45-yard line. The head-on was by Rick Walker, a tight end, number 88. And let's see about the flag.
Right, a punt wouldn't be a punt without a flag, would it? You know the point that you were making about Manley.
On a receiving team, illegal block, number 52.
Manley may be getting a little tired because these are 50-yard sprints, and you have 2 people on you the whole time. See him double inside out. He has to beat him, and they're like flies on him. You know, he gets rid of one. There's the other one. Gets rid of him. There's another one, and they're still chasing him down the field.
Yeah, it would be great.
Of course, the ball went to the inside. His job is to keep them from getting outside.
If Dennis would change his name, it could be Courier and Ives framing him. So Bright is going to be dragged down at the 20-yard line, and it was was Tony Peters, who came in to hammer him.
He came in to frame him. He was right up on the line. Peters was that time, and he looked like he may have even been on a safety blitz, or it was an awfully quick read. I've always liked Tony Peters. As I said, he was a corner at one time for the Cleveland Browns, and he was a good corner. And then when you move someone in like that to safety, then you have an extra cover man.
And Green Bay covering Atlanta 14-0 at halftime. In motion is Ernest Gray on a 2nd and 20 on the Giant 21. They try Leon Bright, and Bright is grabbed by Butts at the 20-yard line and will go down somewhere in that neighborhood with Perry Brooks all over him.
In the game plan of the Giants, this is what they were going to do. They wanted to play Leon Bright for the first time, and Ray Perkins was saying that they have some special plays for him, and it looks like the plan is to try and get him into the game and get him to the outside.
Leon Perry has had a strained knee. Leon Bright has had a strained quadricep. So Bright is a rookie and Perry a 2-year man. Look at that yardage now. 0.2 of a yard on first down.
And that creates 2nd and long and 3rd and long.
3rd and 20 on the Giant 21. Silms intended for Gray, broken up, and Lamar Parrish was the man who almost came up with it. Parrish has 45 career interceptions, so you know he's going to be around the ball.
Right, and he's still down on one knee on the 15-yard line. He's talking to Coy Bacon about it. He's telling him, look, I had it. I had it in my hands. Had I caught that one, it would have been a touchdown.
And he's also now paying the penalty. He's played 12 years in the NFL, and playing in 92-degree weather, he's got to be dragging a little bit with 2:58.
Barry Brooks is on the sideline leading the crowd in cheers for the defense.
Metcalf and Nelms are waiting to receive Dave Jennings' punt. Dave will be punting from his own 10-yard line. Got it away, and it's going to be fielded by Metcalf at the 40, and he fumbles and falls on the ball, and then Dennis fell on him. Why does a man fumble that much?
You know, I think that a lot of people say concentration, and they say they have the ball out and all those things. I don't believe any of those things. I think people that have small hands tend to fumble more than people with long hands and strong hands and fingers. I think Metcalf doesn't have those big bones in his wrist and those big hands.
Well, Terry is in there with the big man, John Riggins. Theismann asking quiet, and they boo him. 1st and 10 on the Washington 42. Joe to the left side, and he has Monk. And Monk is wrapped up by Haynes. And they'll spot the ball at the 45. That must be tough when you're the home quarterback asking for quiet and the crowd boos you.
The crowd boos you. You know, one thing, they have Russ Grimm back in there. Number 68 is back in at left guard. So what looked like maybe a serious knee injury, looks like he's okay.
That's good news. It is 2nd and 7 on the Washington 45. 2:13 to the half. No score, which is a surprise. Monk goes right. Virgil Say goes left. And Riggins over the middle, and he's got Virgil Say, and he's inside the 30, dropped to the Giant 26-yard line. Say is only 5'7". They might have lost him in a crowd.
Right, and again, it's that same spot. See it from back here. If he can get the ball over or past those linebackers, there's big holes or gaps between the linebacker and the secondary, and Virgil Say found it that time. Yeah, I know it.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Courier.
Courier?
Yeah. Yeah, babe. 8 for 19. Gotcha.
Tony? On this drive, why don't we get a little more sideline? The two coaches with the yellow hats, along with Gibbs and... No, just not now, but let's get a little reaction maybe between the quarterback Theismann and Gibbs and the two coaches with the yellow hats.
Lawrence Taylor's back in there.
Yeah.
The preceding message was furnished by the National Football League. This is Vin Scully along with John Madden from RFK Stadium. 109th consecutive sellout. Temperature about 92 degrees, we're informed, and the players have to be anxiously thinking of the respite in the cool dressing room. They're about 2 minutes away from it. You might be interested, the Giant total offense, 20 yards passing, 20 yards rushing. The Redskins, 82 yards passing, 54 yards rushing, and the Redskins on a roll now. 1st and 10 on the Giant 26. Theismann with Riggins staying in to block. Flag on the play as he completes it to Art Monk. And Monk goes down at about the 13-yard line. And let's see about the penalty flag.
I think they'll bring that one back, Vin. I think that someone on the Redskin line moved before the ball was snapped, so that one won't count.
So that's the deepest penetration for either team, and it's going to be called back.
This has been that type of game offensively. It's been a great defensive contest, but offensively, it's a little frustrating in that
Offense number 81, illegal formation. 5 men in the backfield.
That would be Art Monk.
Art Monk was supposed to line up on the line as the wide receiver on the weak side, and he lined up off the line. You can only have 4 men in the backfield. You can have as many on the line of scrimmage, but only 4 in the backfield.
So it's 1st and 15 on the Giant 31-yard line. Virgil Say is back in there, the little guy on the right side. Harry Carson brings him down at midfield. The middle linebacker blitzed, and he ate up Theismann. They lost 19 yards on that blitz.
That was another thing that the Giants, the whole preseason, they really didn't blitz. And they felt that Bill Parcells, their defensive coordinator, said that we don't have a big pass rush. We're not going to get a big one. We lost Gary Jeter. We're going to have to rely on our linebackers for pass rush, and we just saw it from Harry Carson.
And they're spotting the ball back on the Giant 46-yard line, even though Theismann eventually went down in midfield. We have 1:28 left to the half. No score. John Warren in motion to the right. Theismann has Metcalf. And Metcalf is finally brought down just shy of the 35-yard line. Bill Neal, among others, hitting him.
And another penalty. It'll be holding against the Redskins. The big thing about that Harry Carson sack was that he took the Redskins out of field goal position. They had a field goal where they were. The sack took them out, and of course the hold that we see is just adding 10 more yards.
So it was 2nd and 30, and the ball was on the Giant 46-yard line. Now it will go back.
Holding offense number 73.
That's rookie Mark May. How would you like to be the quarterback or coach and have to call this one? What is it, 2nd and 30?
40.
Oh, 2nd and 40.
2nd and 40. Any ideas?
No, that's when I always go get a drink of water at the bench, way in the back.
That's one time you can imagine it is silent in the huddle.
Silent in the huddle. It's silent on the sideline.
2nd and 40 on the Washington 44-yard line. Say is left. Monk in a slot inside Thompson right. Harmon and Riggins both release. So Theismann is on his own, and he gets Monk, but Monk is gotten by Kelly and is dropped down at about the 47-yard line of the Giants.
Well, Brian Kelly is a man that you don't hear a lot about. You hear about Harry Carson, Brad Van Pelt, Lawrence Taylor. But the guy, Brian Kelly, he's kind of the leader of that defense. He calls the signals, and he's really been a pain for Joe Theismann. Everywhere he throws, Brian Kelly seems to be there.
Yeah, Kelly missed 14 games last year. He's got bad knees. Apparently, he's sound enough to play now. He's 9 years at a Cal Lutheran. He was, among other things, a champion wrestler. That comes in handy as a linebacker. He was also a rugby player in college. He's quite a specimen at 6'3", 222 pounds. So one thing is for sure about the Giants. They're having their troubles, but when you want to talk about a bright spot, you immediately say Van Pelt and Kelly and Carson and Taylor. Say, friends, next week, CBS Sports Saturday brings you great racing. Pleasant Colony expected to continue the quest for Horse of the Year honors of the Marlboro Cup. You'll see the World Individual Speedway Motorcycle Championships from London. So be here for the action next week, 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central and Pacific on CBS Sports Saturday.
Right, and of course, Vin, at halftime, we have Brent Musburger in the NFL Today that will tell us all about what's going on all over the nation.
A lot's going on, especially with Green Bay leading Atlanta at halftime and New Orleans thumping Los Angeles.
Well, Los Angeles, they got upset last week by the Houston Oilers, and 2 upsets in a row would be tough to handle out there at this time, wouldn't it? Tough to handle any time.
Oh, and
they have their problem.
3rd and 31 on the Giant 47. Don't forget, after the football game, of course, McEnroe and Borg, the finals of the U.S. Open Championship. Theismann with the backs releasing, and they're going to eat him, and he's pulled down by George Martin. Flag on the play.
That'll be another holding penalty against the Redskins. I don't, of course the Giants won't take it. They'll decline it to make it 4th down, so the holding penalty will be academic, but the officials will go through the motions here.
53 seconds to the half. A clip, personal foul against the Skin.
That's just a continuation of a hold. You add 5 more yards to it. Usually when that happens, when a defender gets by you and you see him going for your quarterback, you just
Personal
clip him or block him
foul,
from behind.
illegal chop block on number 53 on the offense.
So that was Jeff
Decline a
Bostic
penalty.
trying to
That's 4th
pick up
down.
George Martin. And it'll be 4th down with 53 seconds. Leon Bright will come in and be the safety for New York. And Mike Connell, like Dave Jennings, a busy day kicking, and he'll be punting to Leon. 53 seconds to the half, no score, and it's a 4th and 40 from the Washington 44. Remember, Washington had a 1st and 15 on the 31, completed a pass to the 12, but there was a penalty. And here goes Leon Bright from the 19. Down he goes. Otis Wanley, the former Giant, and there's the flag.
There's the flag. You have to have a flag on a punt. You can't punt or pooch without a flag.
3 things go together. First the snap, then the kick, then the flag.
And the flag. And you know who the flag was on? It was on where Manley was. He was out there on that side, and it had something to do with him. It was either on him or against him. But it was thrown right at him as he was covering.
So they've done everything to Manley. Now they're throwing flags at him.
Well, they're throwing flags. The officials also have hats they can throw and bean bags.
As well as splitting infinitives and...
Come on, Ben, give it. Oh, he was all ready to give it to us, and then he has to get some more information.
That's a personal foul, number 46 on a receiving team, grabbing a face mask when a ball was in the air, 5 yards from the ball.
All right, Ben has explained it. Mike Dennis, number 46, probably grabbed Dexter Manley and then had to hang on for dear life. Meanwhile, James Jacobs on a 29-yard field goal ties up the Houston-Cleveland game. Earlier, Tony Fritz had kicked one to put Houston in front. We have 43 seconds left in the scoreless first half. 1st and 10 on the Giant 14-yard line.
They really had a bunch on Manley that time, didn't they? They were blocking him and butting him and grabbing his face mask and throwing flags at him. What is this league? Look at this one. Woo, Giants.
1st and 10 on the Giant 14. Doug Coder. And they nail him behind the line of scrimmage, and it was Dave Butts, number 65. This This was the spot last week when the Giants surrendered a fumble to Philadelphia, and the Eagles picked up a charitable 3, so they have to worry about that as the clock winds down.
And then they got the ball back. Remember, Phil Simms just laid down on the ball before the half, and the fans boo, and they've been talking about that all week. But, you know, they still have 85 yards to go. They aren't going to do it in the play.
2nd and 10. We'll see if Phil goes down for the count now. No, he's going to give it to Coder. And Coder gets out across the 20. And the clock has run out. And so the first half, with a lot of booing at RFK Stadium, the Giants struggle, Washington struggles, no score. What a lot of nothing.
The Dole Bowl.
Holy mackerel.
Dole Bowl.
Yes. Well, I would say one thing they said. It's a stinker.
I think we're on things pretty well. They have all the stories.
Well, you know what we're doing? We're working our ass off. You know, I mean, at least we're giving them everything imaginable. Right? Oh, you bet. Gee. But I tell you, this is when you're glad you did your homework during the week. The most interesting thing that's happened is watching that kid Manley try and go down on punts. I mean, that's really...
The two guys trying to block. Most interesting thing is the punt throw. There's a penalty on every one.
Oh, my. I really feel sorry for the players. I don't know how
Talk again, Bob. Keep talking. Yeah. Okay, can you give us those stats now? Do we have time to look at them before again? Put them up. Yeah, just leave them there. Yards rushing. The only thing. The only thing that's not there that has to be a part of it is the penalties. Yeah, I think that's.
Everybody, Vin Scully along with John Madden, halftime at RFK, no score on the ball game. I have a question. Is it true that you're planning to give all this up and remake all of Fred Astaire's old movies?
No, I don't think I'll do it. No, I think I'll stay out of that. I love this too much. I love this football.
Okay, what about this half game that we have seen? Do you still love football?
Well, defense. If you like defense and you like low-scoring games, you could. If you like offense, maybe it's been a little more offensive than it has been offensive.
Yeah, right. It has been. You can take a look at some of the painful numbers here, and the stats telling a little bit of a story anyway.
Well, you know, the thing is, the Giants, we see, only had one first down. Now, that's tough to play a whole half and only have one first down. They don't have much rushing or passing. The Redskins, they had some movement, but they've had a lot of bad things happen to them. Turnovers, penalties, they just haven't gotten going.
This would be an excuse, I guess, but it could be applicable to both teams. Would the heat have anything to do with it? I think it's about 92 degrees here in Washington.
I don't think so, because the defense is playing in the same heat. Someone has to beat someone.
And they train, certainly the Redskins train over in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. It gets just as hot there all summer.
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem.
So that's not an excuse. It's scoreless. The crowd is unhappy. The people in New York were unhappy with the Giants last week, and you should see them here in Washington. Theismann asking for silence, and he got booed for it.
He got booed for it. At halftime, they went off the field, and they got booed for that. And, of course, I think that, they don't have to listen to that. What they have to do is get some offense going. They have to get something going.
We were wondering, and you remarked about penalties, and here I'll give you an idea. There have been 15 penalties, and it's almost equal. The Giants one more penalty, so they have 12 more yards, but the 15 penalties in the first half.
It's really been a sloppily played first half, because you take the turnovers that we've had, you take the penalties that we've had, the drop passes, and you add all that together, and it's a very frustrating first half for all of us, and let's hope that we get a better one this half.
All right, John. Both clubs refreshed, hopefully, and ready to do battle in this second half. No score in the ball game. The Giants in Washington coming off losses last week. The Giants bowing to Philadelphia and Washington losing, although they were rather emotional, they tell us, last week and played much better against Dallas. And of course, each club felt that they were playing an equal team today. Well, they have been equal in frustration, certainly. No score at the start of the second half. John, in looking back over the first half, would you say the teams have followed whatever information you brought to the ballpark? Have they tried to do what they were talking about, or are they forced to lead game plan?
No, I I think they've stayed with their game plan. The Redskins on offense wanted mixture. They're getting that. They wanted to pound Riggins. They're getting that. The Giants wanted to go for some deep ones, and they've done that, but they haven't had any success, mainly because of the corners, Joe Lavender and Lamar Parrish, and really the Giant outside receivers haven't beaten the Redskin defense.
We have seen the punters being so very busy in the first half, and this game could very well wind up in the hands of the place kickers, Mosley and Danello. And Mark Mosley will be kicking off. Leon Bright is deep. On his right is Lewis Jackson, and on his left is Mike Dennis. And we're a moment or two away from the kickoff opening up the second half. Here we go. Leon Bright just about from the goal line to the 10, to the 20. And sandwiched, among others who hit him, was little Virgil Say. At 5'7", he was in on the tackle, number 80. And the Giants will put it in play when they spot it out at about the 28-yard line. So Mark Mosley has been pretty much unemployed today. He did try a 50-yard field goal early in the game, but it was no good. So 1st and 10 on the Giant 28, and we'll see what they come up with now. Bo Matthews is in there with Doug Coder. Mike Freedy comes right. Ernest Gray goes left. Gary Shirk is the tight end on the left side. And they'll go to Coder. And Coder brings it out just about to the 35-yard line.
These are some of the things that the Giants probably talked about at halftime, and the Redskins did. You know, what they want to get going this half. They have the Polaroids to look at, the charts, and now they'll come out with how they want to attack in the second half.
2nd and 3 on the Giant 35-yard line. Freedy and Gray in a slot right. Doug Coder, and Coder is out just about to the 40-yard line, which is enough for the first down. John, are you tempted?
And then what will work?
The Giants with a first down on their own 40-yard line, and Sims with time now, passing to Shirk, and it's broken up by Tony Peters. He had his tight end, Gary Shirk, down to the Washington 40-yard line, but Tony was there.
You know, again, we give a lot of credit to this Redskin defense, primarily the secondary, because in the whole first half, I don't think that I've really seen a wide receiver open, or a receiver, including the tight end, which wasn't in that last play.
Well, it'll be 2nd and 10 on the 40-yard line. No score, just the start of the third quarter. Ernest Gray right, Mike Freedy left. Second man, Doug Coder, up the hill and down the other side to about the 43-yard line. Butts and Olkowitz providing part of the mountain that he had to climb. There's Sims' numbers, 20 yards, 1 interception.
You know, you get a young quarterback like Sims in his 3rd year, and the one thing that's easy to say and hard to do is say, forget about it. Forget about what happened. Just go in there and start all over again. But again, that's easy to say and hard to do sometimes.
3rd and 7 on the Giant 43. In motion is Johnny Perkins. And out of the shotgun, Sims buying a little time to get away from Lorch. And the pass is complete to about the 46-yard line to Johnny Perkins. And that should be enough for the first down. Let's see. If they mark it. Let's see.
Look at Lamar Parrish was standing there. He thought the ball was going to him.
Somebody, I think, threw a punch, huh? Watching Ben Dry.
Looks like a hook, and that usually has something to do with the head. You know, the NFL has gone into to do away with injuries and to help prevent. One of them is not letting anyone hit anyone in the head.
Well, we saw Ben, now we'll hear.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 54. That's a first down.
And that would be Kevin Turner.
Now watch him. Of course, Kevin Turner was with the Giants, and usually, it was right after, and it looked like he started upstairs. You know, that's one thing that they're very tight on, is anyone hitting anyone else in the head.
Well, they spotted on the Washington 31. Great penetration now for the Giants on the completion and the penalty. And a reverse with Johnny Perkins, and he's knocked down by Matt Mendenhall. Mendenhall was deserved last year. Look at this handoff.
But here we see he doesn't have a chance. He just gets started. Mendenhall didn't go at all. You hope on a reverse you start flow one way, you hope that the line pursues. Mendenhall didn't. He came up the field in containment and said, "Welcome, Perkins."
So they lose 11 on that end around from Coder to Perkins. It is now 2nd and 21 on the Washington 42. No good. Intended for Mike Frady. And breaking it up is Joe Lavender.
Joe Lavender is one of the underrated players in this league. He's a great corner, and people talk about Lamar Parrish, who is equally great. But when we see Joe Lavender again, I don't see that anyone has beaten these corners today.
And of course, Joe Lavender is another part of that San Diego State connection. As we see, Green Bay has connected to lead Atlanta 14-0 in the third quarter. 3rd and 21 from the Washington 42. Sims out of a shotgun with Perkins in motion. Sims deep to Perkins, no good, and triple coverage with White, Murphy, and Peters on top of it.
When you only send one person deep, that's going to happen, and the ball draws a crowd, and one deep person also does.
The Rams stung. They were down 16-0, and they're starting to kick up their heels to make it a ball game. And Houston in a battle of field goals, leading Cleveland 6-3. Tony Fritsch accounting for that. That's Mike Nelms, and that's Dave Jennings. Jennings punting from the Giant 45. Nelms on the Skins 10, and Dave trying to arrow it out of bounds. Go out of bounds at about, we'll watch the placement, somewhere around the 20-yard line.
Jennings is trying to help the referee. You see, the referee stays behind Jennings, and he directs the other official.
Well, didn't you try to help the officials, John, in your inimitable way?
I did a lot of directing myself.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Stand by.
Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS, San Francisco at Atlanta, Washington at St. Louis. That'll be seen in the nation's capital. New Orleans at New York. That'll be seen in the Big Apple, and Green Bay, Los Angeles, seen in most of the country. That's shaping up to be quite a battle. Theismann down, then it's dropped by Kelly. Brian Kelly had it and couldn't hold on to it because he's been hitting him with one hand, and we got him with two. He couldn't hold it.
I think if I were Joe Theismann, I would look for number 55, Brian Kelly, and throw the opposite way. As we see him here, we see up in the top, we watch Monk coming in. Now, who's been the problem? Right there all day, Brian Kelly. And that one he almost had for a touchdown.
He sure did. So it is 2nd and 10 on the Skin 17-yard line. Wilbur Jackson and Terry Metcalf release. Theismann down the right side, and Art Monk makes a big catch, taking it away from Haynes at the 30-yard line before Kelly finally knocks him out of bounds.
I think that's what Theismann said. You know, Kelly plays in the middle. He thinks, I'm going to get the ball away from him. Watch here, we see Monk up on top. See, he gets bumped. That's okay after 5 yards. Now he drives the ball up the field. He just kind of stops, works back to the quarterback and the sideline, and look at those hands. Up in the air, whap.
Kelly finally hitting him head on, but it's a first down on the Washington 31-yard line. In motion is Terry Metcalf, so Wilbur Jackson is the setback, and he'll carry the football out to about the 34. So he might have picked up 3 yards, make it 2nd and 7.
And neither one of these teams have, well, they really haven't done well passing either, but the running hasn't been a dominant factor. There hasn't been where they could just take it and drive it and pound and mix, and they just get a little started and then boom, they lose it.
No score, 2nd and 7 on the 34-yard line. Monk going wide right, Ricky Thompson wide left. And they'll go with Metcalf. And Metcalf trips and goes down across the 35-yard line. He was following his guard, Melvin Jones, number 61.
And
Somebody pulled the rug out.
And no one blocked Brad Van Pelt. That was the thing. You know, they've been trying to get outside, you know, to the right side, and they just haven't been able to hand Van Pelt. He's been there every time they've run a sweep to that side.
So 3rd and 5 as the Giant defense trying to bottle up Washington. The ball on the Skin 36-yard line. Monk is left, Thompson right. And Theismann throwing to Metcalf, and Harry Carson brings him down across the 40-yard line. That should be just about enough for the first down.
Yeah, but there's a flag on that one, and I'm sure it'll go against the Redskins and come back. They're really getting frustrated now, the Redskins. We see here, see Taylor come in, put the pressure on Theismann, still got the ball outside. Carson was right there at the catch.
So that'll be about the 17th penalty thus far. What's the most penalties you ever saw in a game you were involved in? Any stick out in your mind, John?
I don't remember. We played Pittsburgh once, and we had a lot of them, and they had a lot of them. And again, as long as we both had about the same, that wasn't bad.
And that's the way it was here. In the first half, I think it was Giants 8 penalties and the Skins 7 penalties, so they're pretty close.
Personal foul. Grabbing the face mask, pulling the man down, number 67 on the offense.
Now, there's where we see the 15-yard penalty on a face mask. And we see the one, if they just touch it, that's a 5-yard penalty. But when they grab it and they pull them down, then that'll be a 15-yard.
But Jerry Scanlon was guilty of the infraction, and it'll be 3rd and 21. There's Jerry. He's from the University of Hawaii. 3rd and 21 on the Washington 21. Theismann over the middle, and he's got Ricky Thompson. First ball he's had a chance to catch today, and he's going to be dragged down at the 20-yard line by Harry Carson. I was wondering when Ricky was going to get a look, and he finally got it. No flag.
There's no flags, Vin, and that's not only the first pass that he caught today, it's the first pass he caught this season. He didn't catch one last week, but again, right between the linebackers and the secondary. Beasley Reese was there. He should have made the tackle.
Now watch Harry Carson, number 53, finally nail him. Gotcha.
And he tried to knock the ball out as he did. You get a lot of fumbles that way when you hit him from behind.
1st and 10 on the Giant 22. That play covered 58 yards. Monk and Say in a slot right. They'll stay on the ground with Terry Metcalf. And Metcalf buried right at the 20-yard line. Underneath the pile, Brian Kelly. And he had a lot of help.
Wilbur Jackson came out on that play, and he cut Lawrence Taylor, and they were able to cut to the inside of him. But again, the Giant pursuit was right there to stop the run.
Well, it'll be 2nd and 7 on the 19. Let's see, Doug Coder has carried 9 times for 32 yards. Metcalf has carried 5 times for 20 yards. There really hadn't been any outstanding running. Riggins 6 carries for 28 yards. 2nd and 7 on the Giant 18 with Monk in motion. at the 15-yard line. Finally drops him at about the 14-yard line. That should make it about a 3rd and 2.
Talking about Riggins, we haven't seen him in a while, and I wonder if John Riggins was injured.
There he is with a towel, and look at his right knee.
Yep. It's hard to play with that on. That's why we haven't seen him.
The ball is spotted at the 15-yard line, so it makes it 3rd and 3 for Washington. It is their deepest penetration of the day. Thompson and Monk slot left. McCrary is the tight end on the right side. And it's to Monk, and Van Pelt hits him and brings him down just inside the 10-yard line. A pickup of 5, and that's a first down.
What they're doing here, they're working underneath. They're getting Monk on the last 2 plays. They drive with the other receivers deep into the end zone, and they have Monk working across to the outside and underneath the linebackers.
It'll be 1st and goal from the 9-yard line. 6:35 left in the 3rd. No score. Monk and Thompson slot left, only this time Thompson is in the slot. Wilbur Jackson straight ahead. Jackson actually bumped into his own man, Jerry Scanlon. He hit his own tackle almost head on.
And we've talked about Jerry Scanlon. He's playing in there now for Russ Grimm, and maybe Russ Grimm did hurt that knee more serious than we thought. You know, this is the toughest area to pass. Once you get inside that 10-yard line, passing is very, very difficult, and a big tight end becomes very important in this area, and also a running game.
Well, let's see. The tight end is Greg McCrary on the right side. It is 2nd and 6, 2nd and goal from the 6. Terry Metcalf trying to get outside, and Lawrence Taylor is too quick for him. Boy, you really got to like that kid.
You do, and the more experience that he gets, he'll be tougher and tougher, except on the blitz.
I was going to ask you, because
they always calm down on the blitz. Watch him here. He'll come right here, up to the outside. You're not going to get outside of me, Metcalf. Boom, take that right around the ankle.
I was wondering, will he still play with this reckless abandon maybe 2 years from now?
No, they never do. The more experience they get, the less effective they are as blitzing, because they learn more things that can happen to them, and they look out for things.
3rd and goal from the 6. That's Art Monk in motion to the right. Theismann going in the middle to Ricky Thompson, and he is over. Ricky Thompson, the kid out of Baylor, who set a Southwest Conference record for the long jump. So he's a great athlete, and watch him pull it over, John.
You see, he comes from the inside. He lined up in tight like a tight end. They got the back to the outside of him, and he just ran a slant inside. He didn't catch a pass all last week or until now.
He's 2 for 2 today. Mosley's kick is good, and finally, we get a touchdown. With 4 minutes and 52 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Washington 7 and the Giants nothing.
Tony? Yeah, Joe Washington is down there on the sideline. He has his jersey on, but he doesn't have any shoulder pads on. He was the guy that was congratulating him coming off. And there's someone else down there with a t-shirt on and a shoulder and a sling or something. If we can get, yeah, there's Washington, but
Oh yeah.
okay, they probably, oh no, right on the 50, right behind the 50. That may be Monty Coleman. See, he's walking, he has his arm in a sling and a t-shirt over it. He's right next to Washington now. He's going to the bench, talking to Metcalf.
Stand by. 5 seconds.
With 4 minutes minutes and 52 seconds left in the third quarter. Washington leading the Giants 7-0. Mark Mosley teeing it up at the 35. Leon Bright is the deep man. On his right is Jackson, and on his left is Dennis. And Bright will take it at the goal line. To the 10, to the 20, to the 30, to the 35, and almost got away. Clarence Harmon caught him from behind, or he might have broken that one.
Okay, now we have a little offense starting here. A little return. We have a touchdown. Maybe we'll get something going here.
It took 7 minutes, but Washington finally did it in 11 plays, going 82 yards. 2 big passes to Ricky Thompson, the second one with a touchdown. There was also a key reception by Art Monk, and finally the touchdown pass to Thompson. So now let's see about the Giants. They have it 1st and 10 on their own 37. A very good return. In motion is Ernest Gray. Doug Coder goes down. Neil Olkowitz grabbed him and brought him down at about the 37.
Really, the Redskins, the Giants maybe can get something going now. The Redskins are playing without Monty Coleman, number 51. He has a broken bone in his shoulder. He's there on the sideline in a sling. And, you know, they have different young linebackers in there, and maybe they can get a little work going here.
Well, we'll see on a 2nd and 9 what Phil Simms can come up with. Gray out of the slot goes in motion. Freedy's on the right. Staying on the ground, and Doug Coder is knocked down by Dave Butts. Boy, at 6'7", is he something? And he's reminding Coder, cool it.
Yeah, he's just telling him, thanks for coming in here so I can make a tackle. Dave Butts said last week against Dallas they didn't get any penetration on defense. They were reading and standing on the line. They wanted to get in the backfield, take off, make something happen, and we just saw him do it.
There is Monty Coleman, and they've already lost Rich Malott. A couple of valuable linebackers have been shelled as far as Washington is concerned. Simms out of the shotgun on a 3rd and 11. Going down the left side, a comebacker to Freedy, who made the reception and stepped out of bounds at the 49-yard line. Good for the first down. Big play.
I'll tell you, Simms had to get rid of that. We'll watch it again. He throws it before Freedy breaks. You see, there's Joe Lavender. Again, right on him, playing tight press coverage. He can hit him the first 5. He stops, a little hand up. Now they both stop, work back for the ball. Freedy beats him right there. Simms threw the ball before Freedy turned.
He's coming back from knee surgery. Are they going to use him a lot, do you think, John? They're going to use Coder a lot, and he's stacked up at the line, and a flag on the play.
I think they'll use him a lot, but I don't think he's at 100% effective right now. I don't think he's 100% effective, and he may not be all year. We may see him normal again next year.
Is there a coach's philosophy on, let's say, a wide receiver coming back from knee surgery?
I think you have to take your time. They won't be the same after knee surgery the first year back. But if you're patient with them, usually in that 2nd year,
holding offense number 68.
That's J.T. Turner playing guard on the left side. Meanwhile, Green Bay, boy, that's a shocker, a 45-yard field goal by Jan Stenerud. It's 17-0. Bart Starr and the Packers.
The shocker is that Atlanta hadn't scored a touchdown. They have a lot of tools there.
It's 1st and 10. Add 10 more. 1st and 20. And Simms right through Ernest Gray's hands. He had not only a first down at the Washington 40, he would have almost busted that one.
I'll tell you, that has to be. Did you see Phil Simms just throw his arm like that? You know, last week he had 6 drop passes. And that really, you know, it's hard enough. That's what he's saying. Look, we've gotten Butts there. We finally get him blocked. We don't have anything coming up the middle so I can throw it. Zoom, I see Gray in the middle. Throw it. Look, it hits him right in the hand. Jeez, you have to catch those guys.
Of course, he had one last week in the end zone that appeared to go through his hands. So Ernest Gray, who caught 4 touchdown passes in one game last year, is struggling today, and the biggest opportunity he'll have. Washington leading 7-0, 3rd quarter.
That's tough enough to, without having that happen.
Look at him walking around out there.
Where's Gray?
He's there. He was all alone on the 20-yard line.
Yeah.
He's back now.
40 seconds away. 40.
On what?
That's a nice shot, Jerry.
Yeah, well, what can we do? Second and 20. The ball on the Giant 38. And Sims will go to the shotgun, trying to recover from that drop by Ernest Gray. Johnny Perkins in motion to the right. Sims too high that time. Intended for Gray with Lamar Parrish on him.
And Lamar Parrish was really on him all the way. Probably of all the corners in this league. Now watch Lamar Parrish in the inset there. Watch him pump. See, he can do that the first 5 yards. He doesn't let Gray off. He also takes away the inside. He doesn't let him to the inside. He also gets his left arm in there when the ball's coming.
Is that a bit of psychology to go to the man who dropped the pass on the previous play?
It probably is, but you shouldn't force it there. I wouldn't force it. That was forced.
Third and 20 on the Giant 38. Johnny Perkins right. And it's to Perry, and he is necktied by Mel Kaufman, and there are flags in the backfield.
Now there's a flag on the line. I think this will be some type of double penalty. I know that one is holding against the Giants. The other one is something that happened downfield here. So we have a little double dipper.
2:56 left in the third quarter. 7-0 Washington.
Holding number 68 on the offense. Lined up in the neutral zone, 75 on a defense. We're going to play it over.
All right, Ben, play it over we will. J.T. Turner was caught holding. Mike Clark, the rookie, was lined up in the neutral zone. The Giants like the shotgun, and Washington doesn't. The Giants, as you can see, are not setting the world on fire with it. 2 for 8, 23 yards. However, that one pass that Gray dropped would have made that figure a little more respectable immediately.
Would have made the shotgun have a bullet in it, or whatever you call it. A shell. I guess you put shells in a shotgun.
Third and 20 from the 38 of the Giants. Perkins in motion. And Sims looking, and throwing through the hands of Johnny Perkins, who takes a lick from Tony Peters.
Again, that was, we talked about the shotgun. That was one of the reasons that the Giants liked the shotgun, not the incomplete pass. But the quarterback can be back, and he can run upfield when the rush is coming. There goes Nelms now. He'll have to return this one, Ben. This one won't go over his head.
Mike Nelms standing on the Washington 10. Look at Jennings punting for the 8th time with a 50-yard average. What a punter. So Metcalf is the short man at the 15-yard line. And Jennings gets it away. And Mike Nelms making the reception. Got away from McLaughlin. Juggles it. The Giants are going to recover. Frank Marion picked it up at the 15, and Marion is dropped down at about the 13-yard line, and there is a flag on the play.
Right, there has to be a flag, but that was after Nelms caught the ball, so I'm sure that they'll keep the ball, that the Giants will. Now that's where the cast can hurt. He can catch the ball, but in trying to run with it and handle it is very difficult. But it will be the Giants' ball, first down. Now watch him right here. You see, he has the ball. He tries to shift it to his left hand, and when he does, it just pops right out, and he can't do anything about it with the right hand, and the left hand can't get it.
We were just talking about that earlier, about how he had to carry the ball left left-handed, and Frank Marion was right there to fall on it. A linebacker was in perfect position. So there is a tremendous break if it goes the Giants' way, official interpretation.
There's an illegal block on a receiving team during the run back. The kicking team got to fumble. It's the kicking team's ball going the other way.
I'll say one thing. When Ben Drive explains something, he explains it as if it has been passed by Congress and the Senate.
Ben Drive does a good. I think Ben would like to maybe come up here and spend a little time. He has a nice delivery there.
And the Giants have a nice delivery. They have 1st and 10 on the 13 with Washington leading 7-0.
I don't know if they will. This is where I think, it's one of those things, Tony, you have to get the ball somehow to a tight end or someone in tight and passing, or they'll try and run to that left side, but they haven't had much success there.
I love it. I get off after working all week to be able to pick the guy up on the fumble recovery. I just love it.
Yeah.
I just love it. Makes my whole week. Oh. Ooh. Yeah. Uncle Sam wants you.
He and I used to get into, he was an old AFL official. He and I used to get into
5 seconds.
Fumbles recovered by Frank Marion of the Giants. The Giants 1st and 10 on the Washington 13-yard line. 2:33 left in the third. 7-0 Washington. Freedy goes right with Perkins in a slot. Gary Shirk is the tight end on the left side. Billy Taylor is back in there. Sims looking left over the middle to the tight end Gary Shirk, and Shirk is brought down inside the 10, and we'll see where they spot it. Mark Murphy.
We were just saying, Vin, when you get down in this area, you have to be able to run or work to a tight end. And, had Shirk run that pattern deeper and got into the end zone, of course, he would have had a touchdown. Just go 5 more yards. Get in the end zone, because that's their problem. This is tough from the 5-yard line.
2nd and 2 from the 5. Terry and Taylor with Perkins in motion, and they'll go to Billy Taylor, and Taylor is right near the plane of the goal line, and he has broken it. Touchdown. And how sweet that must be for Billy Taylor, who no doubt was wearing some horns after the fumble last week, and then the fumble the first time he had his hands on the ball today.
I think how sweet it is for the Giants. I know probably the worst thing that could have happened in this situation is have to kick a field goal. But let's watch it here. They stay low. He gets a good lead block. He gets a good lead block by Leon Perry right there. They get the Redskin defense going back, and then right there the ball breaks the plane of the goal line for a touchdown.
So now Joe Danello out of a hole by Scott Bruner to try and tie it up. The kick is up and good. So with 1 minute and 51 seconds left in the third quarter at RFK Stadium, the Giants 7, Washington 7, and we're shaping up.
Yes.
What happens if we go? What happens if we go to double?
Yeah,
No,
that's what it says.
they weren't in a goal line offense. No, they didn't. They wouldn't do that probably until the 2-yard line.
U.S. Open.
Yeah, they probably would have done it on the next down.
Okay.
Do you have anything on the Giant sideline that looks like tired, hot, long day, drive, frustrated, happy? No camera, huh? Well, we got some. Good.
10 seconds.
With a minute 51 left in the third, we're all even 7-7. And Joe Danello kicking from the Giant 35-yard line. Terry Metcalf is deep, Wilbur Jackson on his left, and Mike Nelms on his right. And Metcalf will take it at about the 3. To the 15, 20, 25, and down he goes. Byron Hunt hit him and dropped him as he crossed the 25. A reminder, you like tennis, John?
Yeah.
I would love to see you jump over the net. The United States Open Tennis Championship men's final. McEnroe and Borg coming up following the game.
Yeah, I went out there Wednesday night. I watched some of that. Yeah, very interesting.
Do you play at all?
Very little. I don't play too well, but the thing that surprised me about the crowd, they're quiet there. They don't talk. People don't walk when they're playing. Nothing. Boom.
First and 10.
Wild, man.
Didn't they have to throw a couple of guys out the other day, though, for hollering and fighting? Play action fake by Theismann. Down the right side to Harmon, no good. Lawrence Taylor, Harry Carson, Brian Kelly, and Terry Jackson. The Giants holding a team meeting there.
Or a half a defensive team meeting there. But you see, that's one thing that Lawrence Taylor could do. Ray Perkins was saying in practice one time, he covered a wide receiver 48 yards down the field and knocked the ball down.
Wow. They cut the wide receiver?
They cut the wide receiver, and they moved Taylor to offense for a day.
Well, Atlanta finally got on. They took a field goal to make it Green Bay's game yet, 17-3. Theismann to Monk and dropped by Courier. Bill Courier had it in his hands after it went through Art Munn's hand.
He had it in his hands, and I think that would have been a touchdown. Now we'll watch here. You see Monk up there in the inset. So he's going to run up, and he's going to run an out pattern. He'll run there, stop, then he's going to work out towards the sideline and work back, but the ball is too high. He's working back. The ball's up over his head, right through his hand, hangs there for, those are the kinds you dream about, Vin. Those defensive backs at night, they dream about those. Just let me have one.
That's if you can sleep.
If you can sleep.
3rd and 10 on the Washington 28. In motion is Don Warren, the tight end. Theismann to Harmon, who is dropped shy of the 30-yard line, hit by Van Pelt and Carson.
I'll tell you, there's my pet peeve. I hate 3rd down. If you're going to throw the ball, throw it up beyond the first down marker. It doesn't do any good to complete on 3rd and 10 to complete a 2-yard pass. You still have to punt.
Buffalo did a number on the Jets last week, and they're leading Baltimore 21-3 at the half. Houston and Cleveland in a battle of field goals. Houston leading 6-3 in the 4th. 4th and 8. Mike Connell kicking from the 20-yard line. The Giants are coming. It's partially blocked. It was Byron Hunt, I believe, who blocked it, and the ball is finally picked up. But of course, it cannot be advanced by the kicking team, so Mel Kaufman will be brought back. But Byron Hunt, the kid from SMU, whose brother is Sam Hunt with the New England Patriots.
Watch him again. He comes right up the middle, right into the face of Connell. Now that can't be a roughing because he tipped the ball. Had he not touched the ball, that would have been a roughing penalty. You see Connell, look at that, on his head, legs up in the air, spread out, but he tipped the ball.
So suddenly things are going the Giants' way. The Nelms fumble recovered by Frank Marion, and now Hunt blocking the punt. And they pitch back to Leon Perry. He's at midfield and finally brought down in Washington territory. Kaufman and Mark Murphy are there. Let's get another report in that 4th quarter. We just gave it to you a moment ago. 6-3 in favor of Houston. Kansas City has forged back out in front, 16-10 over Tampa Bay in the 4th.
They may be the most improved team in the National Football League.
Really?
Yeah, I think Kansas City or maybe Green Bay.
2nd and 2. The ball is on the Washington 47-yard line. And we have just about run out of time, and now we have officially. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score, Washington 7, the Giants 7. We'll pause for a word from your local station.
wanted to do some things with him. I haven't even
He's got a
seen...
sore shoulder.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him anywhere.
Yeah. Got a shoulder. Remember, he was doing all the punt returning last week.
Yeah.
Now he's not even on the field.
Tony? Somewhere, you know, old Tim Stokes had a tough first half, but he may have settled down this half, so, you know maybe we can balance it
good
if we
point.
have something.
Nice. Second and 2 for the Giants on the Skins' 47-yard line at the start of the fourth quarter. And the ball game deadlock 7-7. Washington driving for its touchdown on a couple of big passes to Art Monk and 2 to Ricky Thompson. And the second pass to Thompson was good with a touchdown. But suddenly, the Giants were fortunate. Mike Nelms, trying to field a punt with one hand, fielded it and then fumbled. The punt was recovered by Frank Marion, and the Giants scored. Billy Taylor punched it over, and now on a partially blocked punt by Byron Hunt, the Giants take over, and they have it 2nd and 2 on the Washington 47 at the start of the fourth quarter. Slot left, Freedy and Perkins in the slot. Second man is Billy Taylor. Taylor got down to about the 42-yard line, which is plenty for a first down. What's new with the Rams and New Orleans? Well, New Orleans on a 23-yarder from Bobby Scott to Wes Chandler. Meanwhile, Atlanta now waking up a little bit. 2-yard run by William Andrews. 17-10 Green Bay. First and 10 from the 42. Slot right. Billy Taylor. Diving maybe to the 41-yard line. He worked hard to purchase 1 yard.
I think maybe, you know, one thing we were talking about Tim Stokes early in the first half, number 74, and it looks like he's calmed down this second half. He's getting off, you know, on the regular starting count. He's blocking in there against Brooks. He gets a little movement, and of course there's no hole there, but Stokes looks like he's starting to settle down and do a pretty good job, Ben.
It is 2nd and 9 for the Giants on the Washington 41. Play action fake by Sims. Throwing in a crowd, and a great reception by the tight end Gary Shirk, and a perfectly thrown ball as Kevin Turner finally makes the hit inside the 25-yard line. That's the second big catch for Shirk.
You know, I think Sims did that. I think he went in at halftime and he said, "That's over. I'm coming out in a new half." Because watch his throw. We can see Shirk there. He doesn't have a lot of area to throw that ball in. That pass had to be a perfect pass, and it was.
He rolled a while, so they're going to spot it on the Washington 24-yard line. First and 10. Freedy and Perkins go left, but Taylor's going to run outside. Got by Mendenhall and spins inside the 20-yard line. Mark Murphy, the center fielder in the defense, came up to hit him.
I think this is what we were talking about that the Giants have to do. You can't pass all the time, nor can you run all the time on first down or any other down. You have to have mixture, and they look like, along with field position, that they have it going now.
So it is 2nd and 5. The ball is on the Skins' 19-yard line. Freedy and Perkins left, and Tom Mulledy, they tell us he has a broken bone in his hand, but he's the tight end on the right side. Broken bone or no. Billy Taylor's trying to cut, and Olkowitz wrapped him up with Kevin Turner. For a moment, he had some daylight, and they filled it in nicely, did Olkowitz and Turner.
Yeah, we saw Mulledy there, and it does look like he has a broken hand, but I think on that reception, I think that Shirk may have hurt himself, and of course they only have the two tight ends.
He's
and
coming back in now, John.
Mulledy has to.
So Shirk is back in, along with...
Now there'll be two tight ends, and this is where
you know
George
who the tight
Martin,
end is? George Martin.
George Martin, the defensive end, comes in along with Shirk and Mulledy.
And they put them both, well, they had them both on the right side. Now they move Mulledy over with Shirk. Straight ahead is Leon Perry. Just a question of spotting the ball. It would appear as if he made the first down.
Yep.
He did. Take a look at that again. Martin is the tight end on the right side, but they go the other way.
They bring motion, so they had their strength on this side. We see the lead block there.
Billy Taylor.
Billy Taylor, lead right there, and we see Leon Perry right in behind him. A little dive over for the first down.
1st and 10 on the Skins' 14-yard line.
I think the Redskins took timeout.
Washington, that's the first timeout.
Mark Murphy, who is a defensive captain, is coming to the sidelines. No doubt wants to get a few things squared away. 7-7 with 11:10 left in the game. Yep. Kiss your flight goodbye. And we'll go right through U.S. Open tennis.
Block it completely.
You got that one.
Wouldn't that be terrible? Hawk. Hawk. All right.
You mean the Giants aren't going to score here, Tony? Let me see what's going on over there in the Giants sideline. Give me
10 seconds. Stand by. 5 seconds.
Tonight on CBS, look at this lineup. 60 Minutes, the 33rd Annual Emmy Awards, and one day at a time. Well, these two clubs playing it one play at a time now for sure, because with 11 minutes left, the Giants in great field position. They have it 1st and 10 on the 14. Freedy and Perkins left. Taylor and Perry in the backfield. Gary Shirk is the tight end, and it's Billy Taylor spinning across the 10, and Mel Kaufman drops him at about the 9-yard line.
Did you see who led that block, Vin? That was Tim Stokes on that. It was a tackle trap. You don't see that very often. Most of the time on trap plays, the guards are the trapping linemen, and on that play, it was the left tackle, Tim Stokes, who pulled and opened the hole.
Though Stokes, as you mentioned, appears to have settled down, and suddenly in a crash course, he's starting to feel at home. 2nd and 5 on the 8. Freedy goes left, Perkins goes wide right, and Shirk is in motion, and Leon Perry in a foot race, grabbed by Kaufman and brought down out of bounds, running laterally just about at the line of scrimmage.
And he isn't going to beat Kaufman in a foot race. That's one thing that rookie Mel Kaufman has, is speed.
There's your graph on rushing, John. Not too much of a discrepancy now.
No, it's getting closer, and we can see when the Giants didn't have anything going, they had no rushing. Now as that blue line is starting to rise, so is their success.
So 3rd and 3, the ball is on the 7-yard line. Shirk, the tight end, is on the left side this time. Taylor and Perry, and Perkins in motion. Sims going too low. It was intended for the tight end on the left side, Gary Shirk, who was guarded nicely by Tony Peters. Meanwhile, For one brief shining moment, it was Camelot for Green Bay. But look at that. Atlanta has caught them on a 30-yard pass. Steve Bartkowski to Alfred Jenkins.
That's what I said earlier, that Atlanta has too many great players on offense to be held down. This is Joe Danello's first shot. I saw him yesterday. He said he'd like to kick 5 today.
Well, he'll get a shot at 1.
Well, here's 1, and he better hurry up to get 4 more.
The spot at the 15, the hold by Scott Bruner. 25-yard field goal is up. It is good. So Joe Danello, look out, fight on the field. It is Neil Olkowitz. Neil Olkowitz, the middle linebacker, and Ernie Hughes, the center, are being separated.
You see who was out there? The holder, Scott Bruner, was out there trying to break it up.
It's no place for a holder to be.
Those quarterbacks usually get out of the way.
Neil Olkowitz, a little hot, trying to knock a syllable out of Hughes. Yeah, just a matter of time.
Look, Danello's in there too, but he's not.
Yeah, look at Hughes wants to choke him now.
Yeah, where is Danello?
Look at Bruner.
I know it. Well,
yeah,
look at Bruner. Look, he gets in there, the holder. Look, he's the guy that ends up breaking it up.
Who is that he's first started out with? Is that 87? Is that Shirk?
That was Shirk.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
right.
It was Shirk.
Yeah, okay.
10 seconds. Stand by.
With 10:20 left in the game, the Giants have taken a 10-7 lead. Metcalf is deep on the goal line with Nelms at the 10, but it'll be Terry Metcalf from 2 yards in the end zone. Behind a little wedge. He's going to be boxed in and got away from Jackson, and Beasley Reese neckties him at about the 17-yard line. It doesn't tell you about the fact that Byron Hunt partially blocked the punt, and it led to the 25-yard field goal. But here's the fight. Neil Olkowitz and Gary Shirk. Now Ernie Hughes comes over to be the peacemaker, and suddenly he's holding on to Olkowitz, and Olkowitz gets mad at Hughes. Jarris White comes over to try and calm things down. Scott Bruner, the quarterback, came over to take a look.
He came over to take a look, which they usually do, and he ended up breaking it up.
Joe Danello is a wise head. He was long gone.
Kickers and quarterbacks usually get off the field.
1st and 10 from the 17. Theismann, a little release to Wilbur Jackson, and on the screen, Wilbur is on the move. It's across the 25-yard line, very close to a first down. Jeff Bostic, the center, throwing a good block to help him. And New Orleans forging back after Pat Hayden had passed to Preston Denard. It is now New Orleans 23, Los Angeles 17. And Buffalo holding on to that 21-3. Joe Ferguson's latest touchdown, a 5-yard pass to Mark Brammer. And a player, that's Harry Carson, shaken up. And Wilbur Jackson, who caught that little release, kind of a safety valve pass. Jackson was shaken up. The Giants are leading 10-7, 9:44 left in the game. What's left, John? We haven't seen the flood. Well, we did see the flood once.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to character, and this would be part of it, coming from behind, huh?
Yeah, that could be. The other thing that's, we were talking about the tired, and I think that it looks like the intensity is picking up as they get tired.
Yeah. Kuykendall, they call him Captain Crazy down there in Georgia, just ran a 20-yard interception for a touchdown. Atlanta leading 24-17. First and 10 Skins on the Washington 27. Theismann going to the left side. He's got Metcalf at midfield, and Terry is into Giant territory at the 49.
You know, we talked in the first half how the heat and how warm it was and so on, but now in the last quarter, the intensity of this game has seemed to pick up. It looks like they're going a little harder. The tackling is crisper. Everyone looks a little quicker right now. And again, he hit Metcalf right in the hole in the zone between the linebackers and the secondary.
So it is first and 10 Washington on the Giant 49. In motion is Metcalf. Wilbur Jackson, the setback, trying to get outside, and he is stacked up. Don Warren, the tight end, had just too many blue shirts to block. He got some help from May, but it wasn't enough, and the play broke down. And Warren helped up by Lawrence Taylor.
One that played that well was Phil Tabor, the right defensive end. Mark May was trying to block him, and he just took Mark May and put him in the backfield, and there was no cut for Jackson.
Don Warren, after that skirmish, the tight end comes out, so does Terry Metcalf. Art Monk comes back in, along with Greg McCrary and Virgil Say. So the running backs are Jackson and Harmon. Theismann down the right side, and Art Monk stepped out of bounds, or was he out of bounds when he caught the ball? They're going to call him back. I believe he stepped out while catching the ball, so it is no completion.
Well, no, but Joe Theismann watches Monk all the way. Look, he's looking to his right the whole way. Haynes was on him. He broke away from Haynes, and he hit right over his head, and that left foot was on the sideline.
And then for good measure, he turned, and the right came out as well. That was a good call.
It was a good call because when he caught the ball, his left foot was out of bounds.
So third and 10 on the Giant 49. But suddenly now a couple of receivers have been wide open. Metcalf was open, and of course Monk would have been, except for the fact he stepped out.
Mark Haynes, the quarterback, wasn't real close on the coverage, but he was the first one there to point to the official that his foot was out of bounds.
Monk goes right, Virgil Say goes left. Harmon and Jackson. And the ball is wobbly thrown and dropped because they were all over Joe Theismann. Right now, for an NFL Today report, let's go to Brent Musburg up the road in New York. Brent, on a 4th and 10, Mike Connell having to punt, and he hit it up in the clouds. There's no chance for, they'll just let the ball bounce and go into the end zone, and the Giants will take over, and there's a little more fisticuffs on the field. This time it is Joe McLaughlin, and he's battling young Darrell Grant, but they break it up. So tempers are getting as hot as the weather. It's about 92, and it is 10-7 Giants with 7:45 left.
That's it.
Yeah.
Is that Dexter
there's
Manley?
3 guys. Yeah, there's 3. There's
is that
3.
something?
Yeah.
He is. What a horse. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay.
All right. Please ask Bob to lower his volume. That's just absolutely painful. That's a little better. It's a killer. It really is a killer. Oh, I get you. Yeah, I've got the thing almost off my head, and it's still piercing. Yeah, people in the lower deck are turning and looking up to find out who's making the noise.
They're upset.
The Giants put it in play, 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line, leading 10-7 with 7:45 left in the game. Freedy comes left, Perkins goes right, Shirk is the tight end on the right side, and they have Coder and Matthews behind Sim. It'll be Coder. And Coder gets out to the 25-yard line, so he purchased 5. Question now of whether the Giants can hold on to the ball and get a drive going on their own. The other two is the defense.
There's Olkowitz. He always leads his team in tackles. He did last year and he did last week. And on both sides of him at the linebackers, he has 2 rookies now, Mel Kaufman, and of course Kevin Turner's not a rookie, but they just got him from the Giants, second-year man.
2nd and 5 at the 25-yard line. In motion is Perkins. And Doug Coder maybe got a yard or 2, but Coy Bacon is furious at himself because Bacon had a shot about 3 yards behind the line, and he just did slither by him. He might be getting a little tired.
I think he's also upset with someone else that one of the Giants he thought maybe held him, so he was upset that what was that, slithered? That's a good
slithered.
word. I never slithered anywhere in my life.
There's Coy, 14 years out of Jackson State. He was in 3 Pro Bowls. It is 3rd and 3 from the Giant 27. Sims looking for Coder. Coy Bacon broke it up and caught it and dropped it. Coy Bacon, they're going to argue that he had held it and fumbled it and it was recovered, but I think the officials are just going to rule it an incomplete pass.
Now watch Coy Bacon here again. He's to the left. He's against Tim Stokes. He starts in there right outside the screen. Now he comes up, and that's what a good lineman does. When the offensive man goes to cut him, he goes up to jump up. He did, tipped it, and Coy's saying, I wish I would have caught that one, but I'm just wearing too many pads in my hands.
Say one thing, he's anything but coy out there, huh? Dave Jennings gets it away a little bit low, however. It'll be fielded by Mike Nelms from the 21 to the 35. And down he goes. Brian Kelly is on top of him. And now Washington has 6 minutes, plenty of time, and in reasonably good field position, as they will put it in play 1st and 10 on their own 37-yard line. Don't forget, immediately following the game, the finals, United States Open Tennis Championships. For the men's championship, John McEnroe be on board. First and 10 on the Washington 37, Kansas City leading Tampa Bay 19-10. It's going to go to Wilbur Jackson, and the pass is partially deflected.
It was partially deflected by his right tackle, George Stark. Stark was out there on a screen, and and there was a blitz. Brad Van Pelt came, and Theismann threw the ball, and it hit George Stark right between the 7 and the 4 in the back.
Well, Theismann, with 48 passes last week, has thrown it 32 times. Meanwhile, Sims has thrown 6 for 24. 2nd and 10 on the Skins 37. Theismann down the left side, intercepted by Courier. Courier was down, and a flag, so hold everything. The Giants are acting like there might have been pass interference. Let's see.
I think it's against the Redskins, Vin. I think it'll be the Giants' ball.
Right.
Let's see what happens. See, it's a little roll now. I think if he would have thrown to the intermediate guy right there in front, it may have been there, but he's throwing to the deeper man, and of course Courier was there for the interception.
Wipes it away. 1st and 10, and the Giants have the ball in good position on their own 44, leading by 3. A sellout crowd at RFK, but that's nothing new. 109 consecutive sellouts here. First and 10, Giant 44. Uh-oh. Now let's see. Coder moved in the backfield, and Coy Bacon took off after him. But I think Coder was the one who came up and started towards the line. Maybe it was someone up front as well.
Look at them arguing on both sides. Bacon is pointing one way, and we have the JT Turner in there pointing the other side.
Offense.
That's poor Tim Stokes.
And it was right behind him was Coder, so he was probably watching Stokes and instinctively moved in. Look at that. Bum Phillips has done it, and the Saints can take off the bags off the faces of the fans. It's 23-17 New Orleans. Fine.
Give him to L.A.
Holy mackerel. Give him to L.A. Have to put sequins on him.
Now they'll tell him, take these bags home with you.
First and 15 on the 38. Complete to Gary Shirt. Tony Peters brings him down at about the same line of scrimmage.
And Sims is saying someone has to block someone inside because I can't take too many more of those. Did you see that? Perry Brooks again came right up the middle and was hanging around Sims's neck as he threw that last one.
Talking about saying I can't take many more of those, that's what Doug Coder had to say. He was just driven to his knees on that rush. Gordy King, number 72, and Sims coming back into the huddle has a 2nd and 11. The ball is on the Giant 43. 5 minutes and 50 seconds left in the game. The Giants, who came in here the underdogs, leading 10-7 on a fumble recovery and a partially blocked kick. Perry and Taylor staying in. The pass is blocked by number 69, Perry Brooks. He's 6'3", and got his hands up.
They're having a little trouble in there with Brooks on the pass protection, and sometimes it's JT Turner and sometimes it's Ernie Hughes, the center, because they're just allowing too much penetration, and that's tough for Sims.
I love the way you said he's having a little trouble. That's like saying the Titanic had a rough voyage. It is 3rd and 11 on the Giant 43.
You know, it's hard to say they're having a lot of trouble in there blocking Perry Brooks when he comes up the middle.
3rd and 11. Perry stays in to block. And the pass is to Freedy. And Freedy makes the reception to the Washington 35-yard line. Jarris White knocks him down, but what a big play on 3rd down with 5.5 minutes left.
And you know why it was a big play? He got it up past the 1st down marker. But look at this pass protection. Look, see, he can step up there now and throw the ball. Butts comes in late, the ball's gone, there's no one there, and then Freedy can go to work on Joe Lavender.
And I'll tell you one thing, it was Tim Stokes who rode Bacon away from him, and that's why he had that time.
Sure did.
So 1st and 10 on the Washington 36. John Missler is wide left. Perkins has been in motion all day. He's got to be exhausted. And Billy Taylor spinning, and Mark Murphy takes him down with a hard tackle. You think John Perkins is getting a little discouraged? All they keep saying to Perkins is go in motion.
I know that has to be tough because, of course, the field is 53 yards wide, and when you run from one end to the other, you've run 50 yards before you gain a yard. So if you run a 25-yard pattern and you add 50 yards to it, that's 75, and then you have to go back, that's 25, that's 100.
That's too much.
Just keep adding. You got a calculator. There are other things he has.
You need an odometer. Johnny Perkins, number 86, has spent this 90-degree day running from one side of the field to the other. He's in a slot left. On a quick handoff, they get out across the 30-yard line as Leon Perry was following a block by J.T. Turner in the center, Ernie Hughes.
And now this is a big down for the Giants. We see there's 4 minutes to go, and one of the things that's important here is ball control, that they keep it and don't let the Redskins have it back.
So on a fumble recovery, a partially blocked punt, and an interception, the Giant defense has really handled the ball to the offense. This is a 3rd and 4 from the 30. Perkins right, Missler left, and look out. Kevin Turner's going to eat him up at the 35-yard line. The So much for that play on a 3rd and 4.
That was going to be a bootleg. We see Simms' frustration. It didn't work. Kevin Turner was telling Simms, he said, I played with you. I was in your training camp. I know those plays. You aren't going to fool me. Try and fool the kid on the other side, Mel Kaufman, because he's from Cal Poly.
And then he had a nerve to help him up and pat him on the back.
He said, that's
Great
what Simms
call.
is saying. Hey, look, why against Turner? He knows the plays. Bruner's saying, yeah, he forgot him.
Yeah. 4th and 8 on the 34. He forgot him all right. And Dave Jennings will try and kick one out. Mike Nelms is deep on the 10 on the left side, and Terry Metcalf is on the right. Jennings standing back at the 50.
Waiting for a pooch. He's going to take
flag.
Too much time. He wanted too much time here, Vin. He wants to get the ball back where he'll have a better angle to get it out inside the 10.
Rather than kick it into the end zone.
Yeah, see, he's going to get on the headset and talk. I don't know who he would talk to that would tell him, Dave, why don't you pooch it? Don't punt it.
Yeah.
Don't get it in. Try and pooch it inside the 10.
Hey, John,
or Dave, Dave, or hit it out of bounds inside the 10. Yeah, okay, good.
Or he says wrong number. Yeah. All right, Jennings got it all squared away now. Laces up, bombs away. 4th and 8 from the 34. What a punter, Dave Jennings. And Mike Connell has done well. So it's been a battle of the punters, but wait a minute.
They didn't mark off the penalty.
They refused it.
Oh, yeah, the Redskins refused the penalty because they knew what the Giants were trying to do. So all that talk we had with Jennings didn't do any good. The Redskins didn't take the penalty. Smart. That's good.
4th and 8 with 3 minutes and 3 seconds. Let's see if Dave can get it out of bounds. Nope. So after all of that, Dave Jennings, a very frustrated punter. He tried to get it out inside the 10, but he kicked it into the end zone despite that long distance call. Take another look at the punt. In fact, you didn't even have to look at the ball. If you just watch Jennings, you know that he did not do what he wanted to do.
Right now, we know that. See the hands? And he said I should have pooched it.
Yeah. Well, there'd be a lot of frustration and a lot of joy shared by one and then by the other. United States Open Tennis Championships upcoming, McEnroe and Borg. With 2:57, 1st and 10 for the Skins on their 20. Theismann deep to Ricky Thompson. And he made the reception OB at the 45. No good.
I tell you, that was awfully close, though, and that's the play that the Redskins need now. They need something. Of course, they have plenty of time with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left, but they need something to get them out of this field position up to midfield. You see what happened? The ball just went boom right out of there.
So it is 2nd and 10 at the 20. 2:50. And Atlanta now has found the combination to the Green Bay safe. 31-17. Fumble returned by Joel Williams, 55 yards for the latest touchdown. 2nd and 10, Theismann gets belted. He got hit by Tabor. It's picked up by Martin, and Martin scores a touchdown. It was Phil Tabor who hit him, and it was Martin who carried it over. How do you do? And look at Joe Theismann. He never saw Tabor.
No, he didn't see him because that's from the blind side. You know, Tabor has really been playing well for this team, and Joe Theismann said, I can't do anything about that one, but watch him come. See, he's turned to the right. You see Tabor come from his back. He doesn't see him, and when he gets hit, the ball pops out. George Martin saying, I haven't had one of these things in years. Let's see if I still remember what to do with it. Take it in the end zone.
By the way, it is George Martin's 4th touchdown in his career. So he's had his share of them.
Well, you know, because he's a tight end on short yardage and goal line offense.
Canelo gets it up, flag on the play. Look at Tabor hitting Theismann now, John.
This is the thing. Now, again, watch, he can't see. See, he can see Martin coming. He's looking downfield to his right. Look, he's just getting ready to throw. Now, what? Right? Ooh, I didn't see it. What happened? Oh.
It is 17-7 in favor of the Giants, thanks to the defense. Fumble recovery, partially blocked kick, and now the sack. I have to put audio on him, or are you just going to punch him up? Don't forget, immediately after the game, McEnroe and Borg for the men's final in the United States Open Tennis Championships. We are 2 minutes and 43 seconds away from the end of the game, and the Giants, thanks to some great defensive plays, are leading the Redskins 17-7 after a scoreless first half. There was motion penalty against Washington when that point after was made, so you can see Danilo teed the ball up on the 40-yard line.
He's smiling. He says, watch this one fly into the end zone.
Terry Metcalf is deep, and Metcalf has to go in the end zone to handle it, and he's going to take it out. And he is squeezed as he got across the 15-yard line. Marion and Jackson, but there are flags on the play. Frank Marion, number 51, of course, made a big play. It got the Giants really started.
The Redskins have to go right back on offense. They'll have that return plus a penalty tacked on, and they're going to be backed up right against that goal line, staring at about 96 yards.
Number 88, high illegal block.
That's Rick Walker, who played under Eagles coach Dick Vermeil when he was at UCLA.
That sounds like some kind of dive or something. High illegal block.
Or an advertising concern. Look at Kansas City beat Tampa Bay 19-10. Buffalo 28, Baltimore 3 in the third quarter. First and 10 from the 4. So Theismann 96 yards away, but he's down by 10. Martin crawling to get at him. The pass is to Wilbur Jackson, and Van Pelt and Kelly finally bring him down along with Courier. Bring him down as he got across the 10-yard line. They'll spot it at the 13.
The Redskins will go without a huddle here. They want to play before the 2-minute warning.
Theismann to Jackson again. Same play, same result. Van Pelt and Kelly bring him down at the 15. That's just about a first down, and we're coming to the 2-minute warning. So it is a first down. We can duck in some scores. That awesome San Diego ball club that chewed up Cleveland, well, they are leading Detroit 7-0 in the first quarter.
They'll have to stop Billy Sims all day, though, man.
I can hear the horns on Bourbon Street as New Orleans upset the Rams, and I can hear the hollering in Anaheim. 23-17 New Orleans. Houston in a battle of field goals, leading Cleveland 9-3. Tony Fritsch kicked 3. Jacobs kicked 1 for Cleveland.
You know, George Rogers had 162 yards in that game.
Well, they said he wasn't an Earl Campbell, but 162, that certainly smacks of that style.
He played like him today, I'm sure. Now, Joe Theismann and Joe Gibbs are talking here, and again, those last 2 completions were about 4 and 5 yards, and they have the first down now, and they'd like to get out into some safe areas so that they can start working the ball deeper, and he knows that he has to get the ball up the field a little more, and 2 minutes is plenty of time.
You know, CBS Sports Saturday brings you great racing. Pleasant Colony expected to continue his quest for Horse of the Year honors at the Marlboro Cup, and you'll see the World Individual Speedway Motorcycle Championship from London, England. Be here for the action next week, 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central and Pacific on CBS Sports Saturday. What do you think about motorcycles, John?
I was thinking about the situation here. Motorcycles, I kind of engulf motorcycles. I like to be inside, have a roof over my head.
Well, it is 1st and 10 on the Skins 18. Theismann looking and now going left, and the catch made by Harmon, who is immediately driven out of bounds by Bill Courier.
Okay, Joe Theismann has to get a little excited here and again get something up the field, because he has to think in terms of 2 scores. Get one and then boom, an onside kick, and get another one. He can't mess around a lot down in this area of the field.
He has 1 minute and 53 seconds. We have a final score. Atlanta took a while, but they finally put Green Bay away 31-17, and Houston knocks off Cleveland 9-3, and Cleveland is 0-2.
Great start for Houston, 2-0.
2nd and 4. Theismann all alone is Harmon getting out of bounds. downs at the 30-yard line. They got it up to the 31, actually, and that'll be a first down. By the way, a tip of the hat, our executive producer of NFL football is Terry O'Neill. The senior producer, Charles H. Milton III. Today's game produced by Robert Stenner, directed by Tony Verna. Our thanks to Jason Shrinsky for his help in the booth, and to Dr. Bob Woods for all of his statistical help. And thanks to all the fellas who worked so hard and long to get the show on the road. Nice going, guys. First and 10 on the 31. Heisman looking at Harmon. They set a screen up for him to the 35 and tripped up by Brian Kelly and falls forward to about the 37 as the clock runs down.
You know, again, the Redskins have to think in terms of 10 points here. What they should try and do is get in position to kick a field goal, kick it, then go for the onside kick.
Second and 4 for Theismann, deep down the left side, and it is made by Ricky Thompson. Flag on the play as Thompson made the reception. Terry Jackson was the man who hit him.
Now watch, we're going to see what happened here, Ben. Watch this. They start off and they're up there real tight, playing man-to-man, not letting them off the scrimmage, off the line of scrimmage, and then they go into a zone. Jackson is waiting back here. Now watch what happens. See, Thompson makes his cut. He's going to the sideline, and boom,
That was
see
defensive
Jackson.
pass interference, refused the penalty, give him the catch, and it's first down.
I was just telling them about it, Ben, because what happened is Jackson came in and hit Thompson before the ball got there, Ben.
Is Ben listening to you, John?
Huh?
That's terrific. I wondered what that thing in his ear was. First and 10 on the Giant 46. Art Monk in a slot left inside Thompson. And dropped by Virgil Say. The little man was wide open, and Brad Van Pelt was there, and Say couldn't hold it.
Now watch this. This was Joe Theismann's 43rd pass today in this game, Ben, and that one was good enough. Say should have had this one. But watch him here. We see Taylor coming from the outside. He gets it. He finds Say, which is tough. He's only 5'8". Zips it in there. Down goes Theismann. Ooh.
That was Lawrence Taylor, who was fighting Wilbur Jackson to the death and finally got in there to get him.
Well, yeah. No, he did.
Second and 10 on the Giant 46. Good catch right away from Harry Carson.
And there's a flag out there, Ben, and I'm sure that's against the Redskins. It's in the area of holding.
A minute 8 left in the game. 17-7 Giants.
You know, that could have been exciting. Had Say caught that pass, he could have been, they would have been in field goal range. They could have kicked the field goal, gone back, kicked an onside kick, got it, and then gone for the end zone.
And he didn't catch it.
Well, they didn't catch it, so it came back to the line of scrimmage. Then they had a play, and it was complete and holding, as we see here.
Holding, number 73.
That's Mark May, the rookie out of Pittsburgh.
Offensive left tackle wouldn't have been a fun position to have played today.
Oh, no.
Now, those guys, you know, it's tough. You play in there, you're in there, it's hot, sweaty, a lot of guys in there, you know. And the only time your name is ever mentioned is when you hold or jump offside.
Second and 20. The ball back on the Washington 44-yard line. Theismann looking down the left side and releasing. Great catch by Wilbur Jackson. He's at the 45 and carries it to the 40-yard line with 57 seconds and counting.
I'd still do that. I'd go for one more play, get a play in there and kick a field goal right now and then go on to win the game. Onside kick and win it.
It's third and 4 on the Giant 40. And that is Otis Wansley, and he's hit by Courier. He dropped the ball after the whistle as Kelly fell on it, but it won't count. So the reception is made. Very close, should be a first down if they spot it at the 35, and timeout Washington.
That's a first down.
And it is a first down with 37 seconds left in the game. Let's just see some numbers a moment. For Joe Theismann, after coming off a 48 pass game, he's now 25 for 45, 285, 1 interception, 1 touchdown. For the Giants, Sims is 8 for 26, 93 yards, 1 interception. Boy, that's a lot of passes. 48 last week and 45 today.
That is, in 2 games, he's played about a half a season throwing. Next week there.
San Francisco at Atlanta. Folks in the nation's capital will see Washington at St. Louis. People in New York will see New Orleans at the Giants. And then across the country, a lot of people are going to see Green Bay at Los Angeles. And both of them are rankling, having been defeated today. New Orleans knocked off the Rams, and Green Bay living in a fool's paradise, leading Atlanta. And finally, Atlanta knocked them off. Denver leading Seattle 3-0 in the first quarter. That's a 30-yard field goal from John Steinfurt. 1st and 10 Washington on the Giant 35 with 37 seconds left. Heisman throwing to Harmon, and Harry Carson brings him down just about the 25-yard line. That'll be enough for a first down, but of course they're kind of giving him that stuff underneath.
They are. Now would be the time to kick the field goal. Wonder if they're thinking of that. Kick the field goal, the onside kick, because you have to think in terms of 2 scores, not 1.
No, they're not thinking that way at all. Heisman is looking for his man. He's going to throw it OB. Virgil Say was in the neighborhood. That stops the clock with 13 seconds left.
Yeah, this happens a lot. Then when you need a combination of 2 scores, they spend the whole game, the time runs out working on the first one, and maybe taking a shot, boom, get one, and then try and get another one, because you need 2.
So Ray Perkins was talking about how he felt the Giants would be able to beat Washington, as you see Dallas leading 7-0. Ron Springs scoring from 1 yard out against St. Louis. And it looks like Perkins has pulled it off. Heisman all alone is Rick Walker, and Walker's down at about the 1. Beasley Reese hit him and prevented him from going in. And with 5 seconds, it looks like it's going to be academic anyway, John.
It will. They'll have to spend this 5 seconds now getting the ball in the end zone.
17-7 in favor of the Giants. They came down here an underdog of maybe a touchdown or thereabouts. But for Joe Gibbs, a bitter disappointment. A fellow with a reputation of being an excellent offensive-minded coach, and to see his team sputter and shut out for the first half, it was small consolation to him that the Giants were doing the same, I'm sure.
It was, and I'm sure that in his game plan today that he had a lot of things that he wanted to do with both Joe Washington and John Riggins, and he lost both of them. Joe Washington on the second play of the game.
That's right. That's a big one. And they lost Monty Coleman in one of his linebacker spot. Ray Perkins, meanwhile, had his defense win it for him. Remember, Frank Marion recovered the fumble, and the Giants took it in. There was the partially blocked punt by Byron Hunt. And then finally you had Phil Tabor sacked Heisman, who fumbled, and the ball was picked up by George Martin. So the defense did it all, really.
Right, and I felt that Phil Simms really in the first half had a tough time, but in the second half he came out and seemed to have a lot more composure and confidence.
1st and goal from the 1. Otis Wansley is in there now with Clarence Harmon. And they'll try Wansley, but the Giants, they all come over to congratulate him on a great career with Washington. And they do it before he can get in the end zone. Now this is Vin Scully speaking for John Madden, saying so long from RFK Stadium. Once again, the final score, Giants 17, Washington 7. Stay with us. CBS Sports presents the finals of the men's singles of the U.S. Open Tennis Championship from Flushing Meadow, New York. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. The National Football League is a presentation of CBS Sports.
See you in a month.
All right, John.